I don't.
Ridiculous.
Do you know what it is? It's bullshit because they all go on Facebook. It's just I'm at the bottom of the
Tyrell. What's going on, everybody? We are back again, myself and my 3 compadres, with the Watches on the Wall review part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1, go check it out. We covered the Night's Watch portion of the big box expansion. Today we're focusing on the cards that are now available for the other factions in A Game of Thrones, the card game. You guys know everybody who's here, so we're able to just jump straight into it, unless you guys have anything pressing.
No. Nothing pressing.
Nothing pressing. Perfect. Let me just quickly adjust the size of Day's webcam because that's bothering me. All right, excellent.
Adjustment. Amazing.
So we're good. The first card, I guess that's me that's starting. So we've got Maria Seaworth. So we're looking at the Baratheon cards here, and a quick baby on screen. I like it. So
I highly doubt it's Maria. Is it?
Is it Maria or is it Maria? Maria?
It's Maya.
Sorry,
Maria.
Yeah. I say Maria. So she's a 4-cost character, intrigue, and a power icon. That's a very cute baby.
We got a 6-month-old mascot.
Intrigue.
Today. And by the way, Montreal, baby, playoffs are starting tonight, and I'm missing it because I want to be geeky with you guys.
Leaves tomorrow,
Go Habs, go. The city's going to change,
Go
man.
Toronto. Go Toronto.
Go.
Nice. I think
Sorry.
you have a family touch.
So, intrigue and power icon, 3 strength, Baratheon, non-loyal, companion, and a lady. Reaction, after a character is bypassed using stealth, pay 1 gold to kneel it, limit twice per phase, Joe.
And don't forget the flavor text. Don't forget the flavor text. Read that flavor text.
Oh, sorry, the flavor text. It was his own Maria he pictured, a good-natured plump woman with sagging breasts and a kindly smile, the best woman in the world.
Fuck yeah, that's why Davos is the boy.
Oh man.
Awesome.
Oh, that makes it better. I'm not gonna lie, that makes it better. Okay, in reviewing this card, I think that she's really, really, really good. I'm not thrilled by the idea of Baratheon having more kneel, especially since it's cheap kneel. It's 1 gold to kneel any character without stealth, essentially, as long as you have stealth. And that is the biggest. That's the thing that kind of keeps her in line, I think, is that she doesn't have stealth, and Baratheon right now doesn't have a whole lot of stealth. They have the Maester Pylos and her husband Davos, right? Is there any other in Baratheon that I'm forgetting? I don't think.
No,
so
I was looking at it, and I think it's pretty much it. Yes.
Yeah. So this isn't a huge problem in native Baratheon. I am concerned about anything with Kraken. Whether it's Greyjoy Stag or Baratheon Kraken. It just seems they obviously designed this card for that deck, and that's fine. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about 1 gold to kneel any character for however many stealth you have, up to 2 times per round. So I'm kind of scared by this card. I'm not gonna lie.
With Esgred, it's a 2-for-1.
Oh yeah, that's dirty. Well, you gotta have the money for it as well. So I guess that's kind of what holds it back. But I do like that they're trying to, make that whole Salador San with his boat useful in the Kraken, because him by himself in the Kraken build right now isn't really the greatest. I know because I tried it and it sucked. So.
So who jumps in? Is this Joe jumping straight in here, or are we open on the floor now for discussion?
Yeah, we're good. So it should be going to Dan for his thoughts.
Go on, Dan.
Yeah, no, totally. I agree. It's kind of scary. It's an effect. We got to remember these cards are evergreen. Myself being Captain Obvious again, I'll bring that up. So the game will keep moving forward. There'll be more examples of stealth, whether that be neutral and or in faction Baratheon. More agendas. I don't know that you play this out of Alliance, but if you ever do, you get that much more options to bring in some stealth. So it is scary. But for Baratheon, it's an awesome card. I gave her 2 thumbs up, unfortunately, because I'm going to play against her a lot.
Great. So me. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think she's great. I really like her as a card. Actually, having said that, though, I feel less good about her now you guys have all made your points, because there's loads of economy cards coming out this cycle. It's called Blood and Gold, and there's loads of new economy cards coming. So I actually don't think the 1 gold to kneel thing is actually going to be that big a deal. And also, it's just loads of great synergies you can do with her. I mean, let's not forget the money-shitting leprechaun that's the most powerful card in the game.
Who is that again?
The one, and he has stealth. I think he has stealth, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he literally funds both fucking interactions with 1 in 3 challenge. I'm sure by now everyone's had this exact thought, so I don't think I'm going to be giving too much away by laying out the bag. But yeah, I think native Baratheon, she's not an issue. I think even in Kraken, it's not like Kraken are really swimming in gold either. You know, I never sort of look across the table enviously at Greyjoy's booming economy and go, "Oh, those squids, they got it going on."
Well, let me put it this way. I've played against Baratheon decks, and a lot of times, I'm nervous when they enter the challenges phase with 3 gold, because then it's like Scene in Flames, kneel that guy, and then Even-Headed Justice, kneel my chud to kneel your other big guy.
Literally happened to me in a game on Octagon before I came on here. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, if that's 3 gold gets you 2 kneels, and you have to kneel your own character. This is 2 gold gets you 2 kneels. If you just have an Esgrid, Esgrid triggers this card all by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So
it does, yes.
I'm not. It's not like I think this is going to be NPE. I'm not saying it's going to be overpowered or anything like that. No. It's just going to be a really, really annoying combo piece that is that's gonna piss me off because I play defense decks.
That's what's great about it though. It is a combo piece. It's not just some like broken, terrible, like crap, like awful, horrible card to play against. It needs other cards to be good, and I like cards like that. I like synergistic cards that promote clever deck building, and I think this is one of those. So yeah, I'll leave it there from my thoughts. And
I think it's good news that she doesn't synergize with herself.
Yeah, self synergy. So hot right now.
All right, well, I guess that's it for her, and we can move on to the next card, which is Black Betha.
Which I'd like to point out doesn't have flavor text.
No flavor text.
or any flavor text for that matter, yeah.
I mean, Maria took all the flavor text for this one.
She had the full flavor. All right, so Joe, you're on this one?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I was talking to Darren Hazelton, being a little troll on Facebook.
He just in the live chat way. Let's go live to those chat rooms. We've got a coming in now.
Black Betha. Black Betha. 2-cost, non-loyal, unique trait warship. It's a location. While you control Sir Davos Seaworth, he gains renown. Action: kneel Black Betha to choose an attacking character. Until the end of the challenge, that character gets plus X strength. X is the number of kneeling characters the defending player controls.
Yeah.
Dan?
Definitely another one of them combo cards. We're talking about cards that are combos, and I listened to your other podcast because you're the man of the hour, Day. You're like everywhere right now. Southern Bannerman's, and one
Day
of your
Canyo's
comments.
So hot right now.
Yeah, isn't he? And you got star power. One of your comments was how you hate cards that are just auto include. And that's what I'm liking with these 2 Baratheon cards, is they're good cards, but they're not auto-include. They're either tag-along or build-around. And, yeah, I always loved how the Great Kraken gave a keyword to Balon, and this is the same thing. So I like that synergy, obviously. It's another warship, so finally Barra's getting 2 warships to help those triggers. And the action's great. I mean, strength pumps, strength matters, and it's strength out of a mechanic that Baratheon already does, and easily. So to me, this is another great card for Barra, in the right deck, but great card.
Definitely good design with both of these Baratheon cards, like clever, fun design. You know, you can almost sort of see the puzzle coming together as you're playing that deck and just happily marshalling your cards. I had one guy comment to me about both of them, saying, "Oh, I don't think either of these are particularly efficient cards or rather, that sort of style of deck building isn't particularly efficient. But fucking, if you want efficiency, go play Lannister, man. It's boring.
Yeah,
And,
there you go. That's exactly what I was going to say. This guy sounds like a Lannister player.
That's cool. I much prefer. I guess that comes from playing Night's Watch, where it's very much you don't really start with all your awesome shit together. You have to sort of assemble it. Requires some construction. Yeah, and then you get your sweet efficiency at the end of it. Yeah, it's really cool. I think as well. There's some really fun banner potential for this card. I'm sure maybe there's some Tyrell shenanigans you could get up to with Randall. Maybe Roose, dare I say his name, in Stark might like this card. There are sort of strength boosting effects in other factions, and also enabling win by 5 triggers as well. Mm-hmm. I sort of spout on a lot about that, but it can be difficult to get those off sometimes. And if you've got a card that enables that, so yeah, you might be tempted to slip a Put to the Sword or 2, or a Superior Claim or something in a deck where you're running this. I don't know. It's I like boosting cards. I also like cards that enable Voltrons as well. As janky as that shit is, yeah, all about the Voltrons. You're one unstoppable dude.
if I'm Captain Obvious, I think you actually are the king of jank there, Dave. There's a new title for you. Yeah. If you ever start collecting them.
That's fair enough. I do make some janky shit, but I know it's janky shit. I don't come along and go, it's the best deck ever.
Hey, that's fine. It's actually a lot of fun. So I love what you come up with.
Yeah, definitely, man. Cool. That's very sweet of you to say. Let's go live to Shomar and his thoughts now. Shomar.
Well, as you said, this is a card that's going to be included in a lot of banners. And going back to the whole Greyjoy idea, I like this one in promoting again that Greyjoy married to the Stag sort of deck, where Greyjoy is the main house, because now you're able to use Black Betha, and because we know that Greyjoy is kind of moving more towards go second style of play, where you're not really too worried about the unopposed. So if you're going second, you know that your opponent's going to have knelt out some characters on their attack, and this is going to give you the opportunity to bump your characters up, maybe even bump up the core Balin if that's who you're using. Not only that, but as we will see later on with raiding the Bay of Ice, this is another warship that, if you don't get to trigger it because you're going first or for whatever reason, you're now able to kneel Black Betha in order to trigger raiding the Bay of Ice. So it makes raiding the Bay of Ice more playable. It makes the Stag banner with Greyjoy more viable as well. And, it increases, I guess, the playability of that style of deck. And I think that it's really helping Greyjoy to do something other than just worry about unopposed and go first. And I know it's a bearer card, but I think right now that's probably where the most of its use is going to come from, or people are going to try to make that attempt again after the failure that was Salador San and whatever his boat was called, his warship was called,
the Valyrian.
The Valyrian, that's it. So I think that it's going to make that make people want to try that out again and see how it works with this. And like I said, this is nice because now you're not worried about going first as much. You know that you're going to get that potential +3 or plus whatever boost on whichever big challenge you're trying to push through, and that might be a nice thing. And that's all I have to say about that.
Will you be playing that deck, Shomar?
Will I be playing that deck personally?
Yeah.
Probably not. I mean, I won't ever build it physically. I'll play it on Throne Techie and see how it goes. Okay. But I'm not going to go through the pain of building it and sleeving it only to get stomped.
What if I build it for you and you can just have a little rigmarole with it?
That would be fun if you mail me the cards in sleeves.
I'll do that. Maybe not the sleeves. No, maybe you get Jay to do that.
Joe, so I like this card for a few reasons. The first reason is if anyone who's ever tried to defend a Rob Baratheon challenge knows how frustrating it is. You're like, well, I can defend with this guy, but then you win anyway. And then I can add this guy, but then you still win anyway. And then I can do this one, but you still fucking win anyway. Because it's just like every single time you kneel somebody, the person attacking is getting stronger and stronger. So
your rage really only fuels me further.
So I don't like the fact that it's another combo piece. You kind of need Intimidate to make this really worthwhile. in my opinion. But the threat of activation on it means you can probably win any one challenge you're concerned with, and isn't that everything you want out of a strength pumping card? I don't like that it's 2 gold. I think that's a little too expensive. But at the same time,
No, I think that's
It's a
good.
very good card.
That's a very
Kind
good
of
price
fairly
point.
priced. You just
I
said
don't
it
know.
allows you to win any challenge that you want on the table.
any one challenge you want.
Yeah,
And
but that
Well-
can make all the difference. That one challenge.
And considering that they're already winning most power challenges that they want to win, that
Yeah.
kind of gives you military and I guess intrigue. I don't know if they're easily winning intrigue right now, but
and like Shamar said, this is best when you're going second. Well, going second is kind of the best thing in this game, and
Mhm.
everyone's fighting for it every single round, most of the time, except for the final turn. We've had that discussion before, but I mean, I've had it individually with pretty much everyone I talk to.
Well,
Being
sorry.
second is the best. The
Is
best
it?
thing.
Well,
about this.
I mean, yes, at most, usually it is. But I mean, like currently, I've been toying around with the whole Victarion and Seal the Hand thing, and having Victarion with the Seal the Hand and this Black Betha out. If your opponent defends it, that's a +1, whatever, and it increases your chance to kneel out more characters, and then you go again. So even going first, depending on who you have out, if it's on a intimidate character, then
Yeah.
I love this card going first, and even if that's not the case, I still love it going second. So I think this one goes either way, because otherwise they're just gonna give you unopposed, right? And
Yeah.
power wins games.
I will say I really like this in combination with Marya, because if you have, like I said, if you have Esgrid or even 1 or 2 stealth, that's kneels that you're powering up Betha with Marya,
Mhm.
and that actually might be a good way of circumventing how shitty going first is, because you have, you can kneel out 2 of their characters theoretically, and then if you have Robert or Victarion or anyone with Intimidate, you can kneel out another character, and then maybe they go and they're like, well, I don't have any characters standing anymore, so I guess I'll pass challenges.
Mhm.
Mate, if you've got a deck built for going first is good. If you've got loads of Intimidate and you've got loads of like aggro triggers where you want to definitely get your shit off and kill their guys before they can come back, going first isn't necessarily bad. It's just when you play a reactive deck, it doesn't ever want to go first, because then you just miss a whole half of the challenge phase that you inevitably pass. But going first in a, where you've got, I think going first in a deck with lots of Intimidate and stuff like that is a good thing. It's powerful, because then they don't get to use their characters.
And that's always a beautiful thing.
Which, isn't that just completely fair?
That's fair.
So,
But anyway, I feel we've done this one to death.
All right. So on to the next one, Salt Wife.
and it's
Greyjoy.
me.
And that's Dan.
After the great Baratheon cards, we're going to move on to Greyjoy and all the love they've been getting recently, haven't they? The Salt Wife is a character, 2 cost, a single power icon, 1 strength, which is traditional. Companion, challenge action, sacrifice Salt Wife to choose a character. Until the end of the phase, that character cannot be declared as a defender. You're up.
I've had this played against me recently, and I don't like it at all. It's a lot stronger than I think it looks on paper, and that's because the threat of activation is scarier than the actual activation itself. I had 2 of these played against me. He had 2 sat on the table at one time, and I just felt like it wasn't even worth me defending the challenges, because I was like, well, he's just going to sack it, I think he had he had retaliation out, and he had 2 of these on the table. So I had to go first because I didn't win the initiative. And I just thought, well, no matter what I do here, I'm fucked. If I go first, he's got enough, he's got enough on the table to defend whatever paltry shit I can throw at him. And then he's going to come slamming back with 3 unopposed 2 claim challenges. And it was Richard Walker, actually, by the way, that I was playing.
the great bastard.
The great Storm Cloud himself. Yeah. And I don't know. I've heard people say, oh, it's not as good as Wildling Scout. It doesn't shore up the intrigue weakness in Greyjoy. It's another power monocon, but it's better than Wildling Scout. Wildling Scout lets you stealth 1 dude.
Mm-hmm.
This basically takes that person out for the entire challenge phase, Yeah, so it's really, really strong, and it does require a bit of thought and a bit of clever play. But out of all the power monocons that they've had thus far, I think this is probably the best one. So yeah, if you're running power monocons in Greyjoy, take them out, put this one in. It's strong. You give up a bit of board position with it, but you're gonna you lose it to claim eventually anyway. So I don't really see the issue. But good cards, solid cards, better than it looks, I'd say, and it looks good. So that's saying something.
So you said that you didn't even bother defending because if you did, they would just trigger this.
I felt like I can't really remember the entire situation, but whatever happened, I was like, well, I might as well. That was it. I was going first. I thought rather than leave my character standing to defend his challenges, I just decided to do all of mine. I was like, fuck it. There's no point. There's no point.
So you rating longshipped it. You just kind of was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna bother trying. I'm just gonna go and attack them because.
Yeah, that was it. That was the scenario as it happened, if I recall correctly. But because I wouldn't have done that if he didn't have them on his side of the board, the very fact they were there made me reassess that whole phase. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it didn't make the choice easy. It made it very difficult. I spent like 5 minutes trying to figure out what I was going to do, and at the end of it, I was like, I'm fucked. I was like, I've been sat here not saying anything for 5 minutes, and I've come to this critical conjunction. I'm completely screwed. Over to you, Richard. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know. When I first saw this card, I wasn't really impressed by it, and my reason is, again, just like when you play the Wildling Scout, and you touched on it before, is I don't like ever giving up board presence in order to, affect my opponent negatively for just one challenge phase. And I mean, if that's the case, if I'm so, bent on taking defenders out, then why not just play Fishing Net? Because that stays until they remove it. And I understand that, the reason why they did this in this box is because it's Night's Watch, and a lot of Night's Watch characters have no attachment except weapon. And so maybe this is to get around that no attachment thing. But
the Fishing Net
is a weapon.
Yeah.
But I just never like losing a character. Even when I was playing with the Wildling Scouts, I always hated giving it up and losing that one character off the board in order to give myself stealth for a little bit. I mean, it's great during that turn. It's great if it's a winning turn. So if it was like a Clash of Kings turn, for example, or a Rise of the Kraken turn. Yeah, Rise of the Kraken turn. Then that would be fantastic. But just doing it mid-game, I don't find it useful in a majority of the matchups, because then now you're forced to claim, a character that you don't necessarily want to. And yes, Greyjoy has a ton of saves, but I just don't see it as being worth $2 just to, threaten you to say, I might screw you over and take that renown guy out of being able to defend this challenge right now. I just don't think that it's worth it personally.
It's an interesting comparison with Fishing Net. I never thought of it like that, because Fishing Net, I kind of guess, does exactly the same.
It does it the same and it stays.
Yeah. So my best comparison is, this is the Nightmares to Fishing Net's Milk of the Poppy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's on demand. You use it when you need it. It's not as predictable, and you can use it as the second player or as the first player. If they haven't played their characters yet, you can go back and Salt Wife whoever you need to get around, because you didn't know who they were. You didn't know who they're playing when you were marshaling. So that is the best comparison I can come up with, and I think it's a sound comparison. And Nightmares is everywhere. So if Nightmares is everywhere, that makes me think that this could be everywhere. But on the other side of that coin, Throwing Net, Fishing Net is not played either. So if we're doing that comparison, then yeah, it's not going to be played because Fishing Net isn't played either. A lot of times people will use Nightmares in lieu of Milk of the Poppy because Nightmares is on demand and unknown.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But if Fishing Net is not used at all, then we'll see how this is used. I do think it's funny because you were talking about Richard Walker, and that guy sent me a message. He was like, "Okay, 3 Fishing Nets, 3 raiding longships. Are you afraid of losing an unopposed challenge yet?" I was like, I mean, not really. Maybe. I mean, I was like, I'd be.
raiding longship not work as well? Not that it matters because they do the same thing. But anyway.
Yeah, and I just told him, like, maybe. I mean, I could see that being annoying. Yeah, he's like, okay. What about 3 fishing nets, 3 raiding longships, 3 salt waves? Are you scared now?
No.
It's like, I don't know, Richard. If you're committing that much of your deck to just getting unopposed, why are you doing this? What is the end game? And he's just like, okay. What about 3 fishing nets, 3 raiding longships, 3 salt wives, and 2 Kraken's Grasp? I'm like, Richard, go away. I'm busy right now. This is like a Saturday afternoon, and he's just like sending me these messages, asking me these ridiculous questions. So yeah, in that deck, this is going to work fine. But Greyjoy's been.
Richard. He's he's a very funny guy. He's got a very, very dry sense of humor, Richard. But yeah, so.
Well, that's why I continue talking to him. But it's just funny to me because this deck seems to go in that unopposed deck, but I'm not sure if it goes into any other decks. Like Shamar said, it's great late game. Fantastic late game. But how many cards are you running?
My thing with this is, and if we're talking about popularity, you know that Lannister is popular and will forever be popular. And so this is just one treachery away from being a wasted card that gets thrown away for no reason. Then you have to claim shit anyways. So like to throw this in your deck for an entire tournament.
Hey. If Lannister is spending their treachery on this instead of on one of your other triggers, and you're playing the unopposed deck, let them treachery this.
No, don't. No, that's
no.
It's.
They could just let you pop it.
They're spending.
Then you go through a challenge, and then you're gonna go Great Kraken and all your other triggers, and they're
that shit doesn't matter. What you have to realize is they're spending $1 to get rid of a character off the board, so they can.
That only costs you $2, which is also.
It costs you $2. It costs them $1 to get rid of a character off the board for no reason.
No, but I mean, I understand.
Go down the treachery rabbit hole.
No, I'm just saying, like, you got to think of it in a.
The treachery rabbit hole is always an annoying rabbit hole. But I don't like entertaining too often.
You have to think of it in a full tournament perspective, right? Like, you're gonna play through whatever, however many rounds in a, let's say a regional. You're gonna play through 5 rounds of Swiss, and then if you want to make it to the end, that's another 4 rounds or whatever. And in that 10 games, you're definitely gonna run into a Lannister player who's gonna cancel this shit and make it useless. Yeah. So it's not worth it to play that, I don't think, when you can just play other...
but there's so many triggers and more important triggers than this. I mean, if we're rating this card because of treachery as piss poor,
I'm not rating it based on. I'm not rating it based on treachery.
That's just if they want to burn the treachery on this, go right ahead.
I'm not rating it based on treachery.
You're a bad Lannister player.
I'm not rating it based on treachery, though. I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, you have to think of not only that treachery exists, the fact that you're just wasting. It's 1 round. Like, most times people are going to care unless, again, it's the final round. So
yeah, I could see, but basically treachery is a bullshit card, and if it cancels the thing you need to win the game in typical treachery fashion, then
that's
so be
a treachery move.
That's a treachery, and you just have to hold your hands up and go, that's bullshit, and that's that.
I'm not saying I wouldn't play it.
Can we safely say that we all have fairly divided opinions on this one?
This card is playable. It'll see two slots in a deck, because yes, when you draw it or you keep it in your hand till the last turn, the last 2 turns, whatever, to get you that Great Kraken and a Clash of Kings, then it's fantastic. But like to just play it out at a random turn in the middle of the game because you want.
But actually, I think this card is actually maybe stronger if you don't keep it in your hand. Kind of like Day says, you put it on the board and you let your opponent worry about it, even if you don't necessarily have the best.
You're gonna claim it. You're playing Greyjoy. You're gonna Valar the shit out of yourself.
Worse, you'll claim it, or if not, then it's there. I don't know.
Hold on a second.
I'm not huge on this card, but I'm saying it's not as bad as what you're saying it is.
I'm just saying it's not worth it to play.
Claim it. You're playing Greyjoy. You've got like 5 bazillion saves.
You can't risen it because it's not Ironborn. No, so you're gonna Iron Mine that?
Yeah. Well,
you're not Iron Mining this ever. Come on.
If you need to Iron Mines it, then you Iron Mines it. No, there was a game last night. Okay, to go back to this Richard Walker game anecdote, yeah. He played Valor on a turn, yeah, and he on this Valor turn he ended up on the board with a Chud, another character, Euron, with loads of power on him, and an Iron Mines, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had the option to do a military challenge, and I didn't because I thought he's just going to Iron Mines the Chud. And do you know why he would have Iron Mines the Chud? Because I would have marched next turn if he hadn't.
Yeah.
So you could never say, oh, you're not going to Iron Mines this. You're not going to have... You Iron Mines when you fucking need to Iron Mines. And if you need to Iron Mines the Chud, then you fucking Iron Mines the Chud. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I feel you. I feel
You know, I don't know. I'm not saying like there is a risk of maybe it will go to claim soak, but like realistically, I feel like Greyjoy kind of have. I feel like they have beef to them now. Like Euron's fucking everywhere, and he's a big beefy character. And now you've got Victarion and all the other Yons, and you know, they're not these sort of like this fragile glass cannon deck that they once were. They sort of like they're now a bunch of bullies that sort of possess the table. And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think the attrition in Greyjoy isn't quite as severe as it was. You know,
Greyjoys are dicks.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's
next card.
Let's move on.
All right, so we're on to rating the Bay of Ice. Is that me? I can't remember. No, that's Day.
Is it Danny Boy?
Yeah.
Oh, it's me. You know, there was a lot that happened in this game with Richard Walker, but this card featured in it as well. And actually,
you get a good one this time, yeah.
Yeah, this is a fantastic card. It's called Raiding the Bay of Ice. It's a 0-cost Greyjoy event, non-loyal. And it reads, reaction, after you win a challenge as the attacking player, kneel a warship location to choose a non-limited location controlled by the losing opponent and place it on top of its owner's deck. Brackets, to then be pillaged by Euron and possessed yourself.
I'm pretty sure this card reads, 0-cost event, reaction, fuck you, everybody.
Yeah,
especially Night's Watch, unless your locations are duped. But no.
Oh, you can that up.
This card is really good. I've had a lot of success with it recently. Like I said though, if the location's duped, it kind of sucks. Joe and I played 2 days ago, and I had 3 copies of this. So I found 2 and I drew 1. And he had a duped wall, and I was like, okay, GG. Never mind. Forget it. But in terms of this card being good, I think it's fantastic. There's a lot of annoying locations that exist right now, and all of which are non-limited. And so this is probably why Euron is going to be floating around even more so than he was already, because you know, you win a challenge, you have a plethora of warships out, some 0-cost ones as well. You kneel one, you throw it on top of the deck, you know that pillage happens after, and now you have successfully taken the wall with Euron or Castle Black or whatever have you. So that's all well and good, but like I said, if the location, Isle of Ravens, if the location's duped, or Queen's Tower, Queen's whatever the hell is called.
Queen's Crown.
All that annoying shit. You can take it. You can
take
it. But the thing is, if it's duped, then that kind of messes up what's going on there. So, you know, it was a very annoying interaction when playing against Joe, where I was like, okay, so now I got to figure out how do I get an unopposed challenge so that I can get rid of one of the dupes to then play Raiding the Bay of Ice, kneel a warship, put this back on top of his deck, and then pillage it and take it. And that's never going to happen. You know, people are playing hands judgments and things like that. And despite that, this is still a fantastic card because it could be a very huge swing to, you know, a Night's Watch player if you steal the wall from them, or if you steal that other annoying card that Joe had. What's the one for the builders, Joe? One of the cards that look the exact same as the other one.
Abandoned Stronghold.
Abandoned Stronghold, which looks like the East Watch by the Sea. They all look the damn same.
Those 2 cards actually do look identical. I'll give you that.
Stealing a painted table, stealing an Iron Throne, like, it doesn't matter. This card is going to be useful in every game and every matchup that you play. So I think it's fantastic, and I really love that it is a 0-cost event. So it's not necessarily OP. People play Hands Judgment and get rid of it for free. And you have to have a warship out on the table, so there's a cost in that as well. So I think it's well balanced, but we'll see how you guys feel about that. Well balanced
and powerful.
Yeah. Very balanced, very powerful.
So this card is why I play 2 to 3 Hands Judgments and 2 to 3 Nightmares. If I don't have the Hands Judgment, I'll Nightmares Euron. If I have the Hands Judgment, I Hands Judgment this. And it's because this was really, I mean, this is about as close as you can get to a middle finger to wall decks. Because that's essentially what it is. You know what I mean? So you return the wall to the top of the deck, you discard it, you take it with Euron.
Isn't Sea Bitch more of a kind of middle finger to the wall deck? That's kind of like, fuck you, I'm getting your wall power this turn, mate.
Whatever. I mean, yeah, it's not cancelable like this is. At least not for Night's Watch. It's cancelable for Lannister, but we're not gonna go.
Don't. Yeah.
We're
Back in the deck.
So put it back in the deck. So this is more directed at Night's Watch specifically, but it's also good against other factions. And like Shamar said, you can take anything with this. I mean, if you can take a chamber, you just fucked the dominance deck. You just fucked it. So
you know what, mate?
Yeah.
I really hope you do that at some point in your Thrones playing career. You know, I really hope you just shaft the crap out of some Baratheon player.
yeah.
Taking their little chamber. Oh, who's gonna steal my power of dominance phase now? I'll do bitch.
Oh, your entire deck's built around this? Now you only have the Iron Throne? Man, it's gonna be tough.
Oh, sorry. One thing I forgot to mention was that even if you don't have Euron out, and let's say you do flip the wall back on top of the deck or flip any of those cards, it's a big econ hit to have to pay for the same shit a second time. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't just necessarily hold on to this because you don't have Euron out. It's still worth playing it regardless if you know that, it's going to disrupt your opponent for a turn or two.
The temple play is still worth it, especially if the locations is anywhere close to expensive, whether it be 2, 3, or 4. Yes, agree to that all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one likes having to pay. Well, but yeah, playing locations are a huge hit because they don't do anything to your challenge presence, unless it's something like High Garden or something like that. But even then, that's a 3-cost location, and having to put that gold back on the board for essentially not to help your board presence in a sort of challenge sense it really hurts, man. So yeah, it's fantastic for getting rid of those expensive ones. Oh, Winterfell! Can you imagine this getting hit with that?
That'd be beautiful.
And the trigger is not that. I mean, obviously, if you're playing Banner of the Kraken, it's one thing. But if you're playing Greyjoy main, the trigger is not that hard to actually to get. So I actually like the fact that this card is in the meta because I'm going to have to play against it, obviously. And it adds a bit more of that psychological gameplay where you're thinking, does he have it? Does he not have it? Can I actually win this challenge? What if I let go this one? Because you can play it off of any challenge. And you're right. I see this more. I play against a lot of Baratheon. My girlfriend plays a lot of Baratheon. There's a lot of Baratheon around. And that fucking chamber of the painted table that you cannot react to. There's no action window before that stupid location. I hated it. I was happy when Sea Bitch came out, but the chamber is like it
doesn't do anything.
Sea Bitch proof. So this is awesome. This is a big fuck you to the chamber, and we got to remember we got a new Melisande that's actually coming out very soon. So we're gonna see a lot of these Baratheon dominance decks out there because her effect is crazy, goddamn stupid. So this is a great card to have.
Yeah,
and the trigger is pretty easy too. You just have to win a challenge and have a warship.
It's just as easy as Queen's Crown. Fuck. So
well, hold on. Show up before you go ragging on other faction shit. What is great about the trigger of this card is that you need a warship, and the cards are non-loyal, but you do need a warship, and no one is running warship. No one's running enough warships to make.
Well, guess what? They're coming back.
Yeah,
they're coming back right now.
Warships will be in vogue next week.
I just want to tell this story really quickly because it's fucking amazing, and
You're
it's
full of stories today, aren't you?
It's all just one game. This epic game of Richard Walker. I played Isle of Ravens, because I was Queen's crowning all of his shit into the discard. The first turn was a blowout turn for me. I discarded the Reader and Asher, and I had 2 Now My Watch Begins in hand, and they were both on my side of the board. The Valor, they both died, and it was back and forth crazy. And then I marshaled Isle of Ravens because I managed to get 2 of his Balons into the discard, and then he icy baited the Isle of Ravens, snatched it with Euron, and started putting his Balons back into his fucking deck. And I was like, no. And then, sure enough, later on in the game, Balon came out and essentially made it so I couldn't win the game. He had enough of those warships that boost the strength on side. There was nothing I could do, and he won. And just to put it in perspective, you wouldn't even think that icy baying a card like that is what would win you the game. But the fact that he was able to put this character back in his deck and this, if I see it again, wicked.
I love it.
Anyway,
Richard does weird shit like that all the time.
It's good.
It
was a wicked play.
I got you covered, man.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna share a mug with you, man. Greyjoy all the way, right?
I
We're
have
doing the
one,
Kraken cards.
But mine
Cheers,
is
buddy.
mine is not black. That one is dope. I want that.
Yeah, it's actually got the Game of Thrones on one side, and it's the We Do Not Sow on the other. So if I get my hands on one, man, it's yours.
I think I just.
Sick.
See you at regionals. You better let me win.
All right. Now we finished all creaming our genes over the Greyjoy.
Next
With the
card.
Greyjoy stuff. Yeah.
Let's do some red cards that
So-
Americans love so dearly.
Onto the red. So we've got Ulf, son of Umar, which is
Umar.
my cousin. So it's Lannister.
Shomar and Umar.
So it's
This is your nephew, huh?
we're cousins.
Is there
so-
like a combination of the two of you called Schumer?
Actually, some people do call me that. I don't know how they come to that conclusion that, Shomar is Shumar, but hey.
Well, they also call you Shomar. So
Yes, it's true. I don't know. Americans, man.
fucking
so,
Americans.
5-cost character, military and intrigue icon. It's non-loyal. He has 4 strength, and he's a clansman. Reaction: after a clansman character enters play under your control, Ulf, son of Umar, gets plus X strength until the end of the phase. X is that character's printed strength. Limit 3 times per phase.
This seems pretty
Yeah,
good.
man.
I mean, yeah. The nice the nice thing about this card is that he triggers off himself, right? So if you're able
Yeah.
to get him into play somehow with a Harrenhal or some other thing that lets
Somehow,
ambush
if only
clansmen.
there was some way to get clansmen into play in the challenges phase as a Lannister player. If
Yeah.
only that was a thing.
If only that were a thing, yeah. So in that case, if you were able to get him in in some unknown way, he becomes 8 strength, and then you can still trigger it 2 more times. So he's just gonna be a big fat motherfucker. That's really what this guy should be. Ulf, son of Umar, the big fat motherfucker. That's
Yeah.
the full title of the card, because that's all he's gonna be. He's not gonna be some intricate card that you do little tricks with and everything like that. He's just gonna be a big, strong thing that you put on the board, and he's gonna win challenges because he's so fucking big.
He's a blunt instrument, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is.
Dan?
Kind of like what he's carrying in a big old
Listen,
axe. So he's gonna be fun.
I played quite a bit of the Lannister Clansman jumping deck, and if this card would have existed, I won a lot of games, but I would have won a shitload of more games with this guy. He's huge. He's got the right icon. He's got strength pump. He's awesome. He's evergreen, so he's going to be around forever. Probably the best, if not one of the best clansmen that Lannister has.
I really like
And
that.
actually, it's not like Lannister is actually playing Reigns of Casimir right now, so that intrigue icon with the strength bump means
Oh.
absolutely nothing.
Oh, yeah, right. I didn't even think about Casimir triggers. Yeah, that's a very good point, Dan. God, that fucking agenda.
I'm Captain Obvious, I told you.
Well, you say that. I didn't think. Having said that, I don't really play Lannister. I'm infamous for not playing Lannister, so yeah.
Oh, Dan is Mr. Not Obvious.
Yeah,
you go.
he's just another big efficient card with a good reaction. I'm glad to see they're fleshing out the Klansman theme, because I think it's one of the more skillful to play builds out of Lannister. Skillful. It's I wouldn't say it's difficult to play, but it's harder to play than putting Tyrion and Tywin down and just being like, oh, I win. Great. Good game, bro. Really good game. Really good. Yeah, no. So I mean, there's a lot of bouncy parts to that Klansman deck, and I really like the new Tyrion as a card, mainly because he takes use away from old Tyrion, and then it's a cool way to play the game. I would say I'm slightly worried about the endless bullshit combo, which is Tower of the Hand, Harrenhal, Tyrion. The endless bullshit combo, which you can literally do nothing about once it's on the board. You're fucked at that point. You have to stop that before it happens. But they're doing. We've got Barring the Gates, which is something, and we are getting Lay Siege in a couple of packs' time, which will get rid of contested locations for a mere gold. And there's absolutely no trigger for that. So I don't know how long these Harrenhal decks have left in the sun, and maybe they'll have some other way of doing it down the line. But for the deck he goes in, he's very, very strong. He's very, very efficient, and he's just everything that Lannister want. And I don't really have anything else to say other than that. So shall we move on to a more interesting card?
I had one additional comment that I thought was funny.
Go on.
It was just entertaining to me. Sam Woolley, if I'm pronouncing his name right, he made a comment on the article that Steve Cantrell put up for this, the spoiler, the review, and he pointed out like, how bullshit is it that because it's a Lannister card, it gets an intrigue icon?
Yeah,
Because there's nothing
Yeah.
intriguing about this guy.
Yeah.
I love that comment. That was such a good comment.
Like, it's such a good comment. It's like, yeah, he's right. There's so
What was
many
it? A whole
stupid
paragraph
Lannister
about him
cards.
engaging in court intrigue and like scheming behind people's backs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First in the cut and thrust of court politics, is he?
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
So it's just like,
So good. What a
just
legend.
because it's a Lannister card does not mean it needs to have an intrigue icon. I think it's kind of bullshit, but that's
Yeah,
just
the thing is, no one would play it if it was a monocon, and if it had a power icon, then the one weakness of Lannister is they don't have loads and loads of power icons on big strong guys. They've got a couple, and I like that, So they've made it a bicon for balance or power purposes, so it's a good card. But they haven't given it the wrong bicon icon. If that makes sense. I would hate this guy a lot more if he had a power icon.
Yeah.
oh yeah. But
Yeah.
I think it's worth mentioning. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That was
It
my
is,
thought as
but
well.
that's faction design and faction weakness, right?
Yeah. So there he is. So
It's kind of like how Jon Snow doesn't have a military icon. Core Jon Snow. It's like, really? He's holding a fucking sword in his picture.
but he's too busy in the kitchen with the pan. Anyway, next card.
Yeah. So that next one is Joe. There are no men like Joe.
That's true.
Oh, there are no men like me. Lannister non-loyal event. 1 cost. Action. Choose a knight character until the end of the phase. That character does not kneel when declared as an attacker or defender in a military challenge. There's only me.
There's only me.
Jaime Lannister.
It's only him.
Dan?
Well,
Well, you know what? This to me is a banner card. It's probably a Tyrell card disguised as a Lannister.
Yeah.
I mean, the art is great, and you're giving a Jaime-like effect to one of your knights. Actually, in my notes, because I did a bit of homework, I was actually thinking, hey, Night's Watch Lanny. I know somebody on the cast that's actually toyed around with this, and with our Night's Watch cards we were reading, everybody's wondering if we were doing anything with knights. There's Captain Jank for you, but it's awesome. It's an action. It's an easy trigger. It's 1 costed, which is fairly cheap. It's a good card that most Lannister players will probably never play.
yeah.
That's sad, but that's true. I mean, what are you going to
you're
take
right.
out of a Lannister deck for this? I mean,
Yeah, seriously. You take out treacheries.
Yeah,
sure.
good idea.
It's the same cost slot, man.
At one of our store championships, well, the one we had in Quebec City with Alex Hines, who actually enjoyed the art off of his overall champion plot card, and the effect is kind of cool. But we had a guy there who's playing Lannister Crossing, and a good part of his game was trying to get Jaime, trying to get Queen Cersei, and you just got a bunch of characters that don't kneel and do multiple challenges, and he's just hitting at you with all these huge characters, and they don't.
That's a fair comment for it. And in a crossing deck, you can argue that this might have a bit more mileage to it.
But you got characters that are already doing it, though. That's what I'm wondering. But you're right.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, let's say you don't see Jaime and you really don't want your Tywin to kneel or whatever, I know he's not even a knight. That doesn't work, sorry. I guess.
I think there are better cards that aren't seeing play.
Yeah. I will tell you that I agree with you, Dan. This is a banner card for the Tyrell Lion deck, and I have built that deck, and it is a lot of fun.
It's bullshit, man.
No, it isn't bullshit actually, Joe. With New Marjorie, it's actually very, very viable. And
I'm not saying it's not viable. I'm saying that interaction is bullshit. Harrenhal and New Marjorie, come on. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, and now you can. No, I didn't put Harrenhal in mine because that is bullshit. You're absolutely right. No, I had fun stuff like a daring rescue, and I'd put this in there as well. Stuff where everything's ping-ponging about, but you're not just like slinging people in with New Marge to then get other stuff with her. Anyway, that's that entire sort of little plan that you're talking about there, Joe, can be quite easily undone by a single nightmares, can it not?
It depends on the timing.
Nightmares is until when does Harrenhal's thing?
I think it's at.
No, actually, it's when the phase ends for Harrenhal, is it? It's not that, is it?
At the end of the phase.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, I
Does
stand
not-
corrected.
Does not
No,
circumvent. Nightmares doesn't affect that combo.
oh shit, never mind. Yeah, I don't know. This goes in a fun Tyrell Lion build. It does things that Tyrell like give you renown, and I'd maybe use this on Night of the Flowers. I think he's a pretty good little candidate for this.
Mhm.
A sneaky little mare and heat on him, Then you can use him again for a power challenge. So yeah, I don't know. It's not amazing, is it? It's fun. It's a fun card, not a particularly good card, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's a decent card. It's not gonna really just auto include itself, but you can do some fun things around it.
It might auto disinclude itself.
No way, bro.
No way, bro.
Not enough Star
Oh.
Wars podcast.
He comes. Hey.
Oh my god.
We've got a
I
Wookiee.
add something to the cast. I mean, you guys got the star power. I got the stupidity.
I like that. That's a cool little
You're-
outfit you've got there.
Yours.
Can we move
Oh
on to
my
the next
God.
one? To Southern Messenger, Dan?
Southern.
Southern Messenger.
Wait, so who's
So,
doing this? Me?
we're
Or
into the
Dan? No,
Martell.
Dan.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dan.
Martell.
nice.
Martell card. He is a character 3 cost. Intrigue and power. 2 strength. Non-loyal. Has ally as a trait. Ambush 5. And a reaction. After Southern Messenger enters play during a challenge, choose a participating character with fewer than 2 challenge icons and return that character to its owner's hand.
Chihuahua.
I really like this card.
Yeah.
I really, really like it.
Captain Jank again.
It's not. I don't
It's not
actually
even
think
jank,
it's
man.
jank.
That-
I don't think it's
Well,
jank.
It's not
This is just-
jank.
It's just a good card.
Mhm.
It fucks Night Watch over, which are a very powerful force in the meta at the minute, without even having to take icons off some of their characters. I mean, you can just ping Aemon back to hand quite happily with this little nugget. You
Why
can
is
scoop.
Aemon participating in a challenge, bro?
Shit. Sorry, I didn't see the participating in challenge. Never mind. No, you've got Haldar, you've got Thorin, you've got all these monocons, old forest hunters, and all your chuds. All these little one-cost guys. They they all get hit by it. But anyway, even outside of that, I don't know if any of you have played with the Prince's Pass at all. But that's a nasty little
Slightly,
card.
yes.
Yeah, when you've got that sat on the board of Nymeria, and your guy's got a bunch of characters staring down at you. They're all Bicons, by the way, most characters. And Tricons are not common in the game. Most characters are Monocons or they're Bicons. And you're saying, come at me, bro. Come on, do a challenge. Do a challenge. I'll take an icon with Nymeria, I'll lose it, and then I'll discard your guy. And this is basically the offensive version of that card. And you can do exactly the same, between a rock and a hard place situation with it. And the other great thing about this is you could
Does
pick it back
Princess
up
Pass
first.
make decks?
Yeah, I put Princess
Yes.
Pass in the deck. Yeah, it's good. It's really good cards, man. You think, oh, well, you can save against it because it has a dupe. Well, yeah, how often do you see duplicates of your characters, And even if you don't, you can strip a dupe of it for your Valor turn. And that
If you're my
character...
friend-
That's what I was going to say. That's pro play right there. Is you
Yeah.
actually do it to get rid of that dupe, and then boom.
Yeah, kill it with Valor. So yeah, the Princess Pass is good, man. People haven't figured that one out yet, I think, but it's seeing quite a bit of play in the UK. It's good cards, and I think having the ability.
Problem
to...
is Martell's in a bad spot right now, but I agree that Princess Pass is one of their good cards that will help them eventually get back to the limelight.
They'll
Yeah.
rebound. Trust me, they'll rebound.
Mhm.
100%. The second Martell have a way of getting power quickly. They'll be
Yep.
As
probably
soon as
strong
they have a
back in the
good
game.
6 or 7 cost character, they'll rebound.
Yeah.
They
They just need 1 or 2 good 6 cost characters.
That
And you
and
can also-
or
Sorry,
not relying on stuff that you need to attach attachments on, and or the new Night's Watch cards. If there's ever like popularity with using a lot more of these characters that can be attached stuff on them. Yeah, they have so many powerful effects. I think it's just the meta right now that's not.
Just a couple of other things about this card. It's obviously meant for use of Ariane, but even if you don't have Ariane, you are still probably paying 5 gold for Ariane anyway. So even if you don't have Ariane, it's like, well, I'm just gonna, I'll pay the ambush is steep. It'd be better. I admit it'd be better if the ambush was a gold less. And I think that wouldn't be too
Too bad.
strong either.
Well, this
they
is an
probably-
Ariane card.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
because Ariane you can reduce as well. So I mean, yeah, ideally you're running three. I mean, I'd like to see a deck with 3 Arianes and 3 of this. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
But somebody, I forget who, in your article review of these cards with
Wasn't mine.
Scantrell, mentioned that there's starting to be quite a few triggers that kind of more or less rely on Ariane, or people maybe that's the trap, but people tend to rely on Ariane for the surprise and not paying for these high ambush costs. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe we're talking about this one character that could be the savior for the faction. If they get another character that has an Ariane-like ability,
no,
even if it's just for whatever their turn or something like that, I could maybe see Martell coming back quite a bit, because there's a lot of these and they're pumping in. And I mean, you're relying on your one single only, well, 3 copies of, but Ariane, I don't know.
Yeah, you're running Ariane as 2 or 3 generally in most.
Yeah, of course,
decks,
and it is a high cost ambush. I mean, you're probably paying it for that one turn when you need it, but I mean, if this card is ambush 3, we'd see it everywhere.
Yeah, it'd be stupidly good if it was ambush 3.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they went the other way with it, and we're like, no, we need to make it incredibly expensive to ambush.
So I kind of want to mention, and this is a spoiler for anyone who has not read the books, because it's not in the movie, it's not in the shows, but in the books. Do you guys know whose head is reportedly in that box?
I was trying to think about that.
It's the mountains, and this guy fucks the mountain so hard. It's I'm often the only person who mentions Nedley effects on this podcast or whatever this is, but I just love that. I love that this just ruins the mountain's day so hard, because he's a monocon. Unless you attach shit on him, he's a monocon. So they attack. Ariane just jumps out. This guy comes in, and the mountain and all his 7 gold is back in your hand.
I do like the fact that the mountain is actually a shit card against Martell. It's like, that's cute. You've got your little guy there. You're not going to use him once all game. He's going to sit there doing absolutely nothing.
And Prince's Pass is the same. After he wins, you discard him before he gets to pillage anything. So I really like that. I'm like, yeah, fuck the mountain. This guy fucks the mountain over. I think they're really gonna start leaning into this less than 2 challenge icons thing.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what they release in the coming.
My one thing about this card is that, Joe. My one thing about this card is that I just really like that it's not loyal. So, once they do it to you once, it's not like you're out of the water. You play that card again, and you're always fearing whether or not they're gonna do that to you a second time or potentially a third time. So I think that's one thing to note about this. It's not.
You mean
non-unique. It's not unique. Sorry. So you have to think about that happening more than once, and then you have that in conjunction with Gas and Gray being out on the board potentially. So it kind of throws you off of your game in the sense that you don't know what challenges you can do or what you're willing to take back to your hand, really, what you can afford to take back to your hand. And so they're just in your head that way, and it's a very easy way to tilt your opponent.
Yeah, and I've been trying to sneak this one in. You can get it back with first snow, which in turn knocks more of their stuff off the board as well. Yeah. Nothing is safe.
That's kind of messed up.
Nothing is sacred.
That's messed up, man.
Yeah. So cool card. I like that Martell card. So
next one.
Shomar, you get Lingering Venom.
Lingering Venom. I hate this card art. It sucks. All right, so Lingering Venom. Attachment, 0 cost. Obviously, it's Martell and non-loyal. It is a condition and terminal reaction. After you lose a challenge, place a Venom token on Lingering Venom. Then, if attached character's strength is equal to or lower than the number of Venom tokens on Lingering Venom, kill it. It's so annoying.
Ooh. I like it. I mean, obviously, you don't use it on the mountain.
No.
But I
banter, just for the banter.
Well, just to reenact the slow death that he incurs in the storyline. But I like it mainly because it's I imagine it's going to be kind of a chud clearing type of thing. I don't think you're going to put this on a big character too often. Mm-hmm. But if you have other attachments that your opponent's worried about, like. For example, if you, for some reason, decided to run Night's Watch, Banner of the Sun, and you had Cravens, well, now their confiscation is being taken up by Cravens. This might sneak through and just eventually kill something big, So, and I will say it's really nice because it doesn't go away when it kills something. So if you had a dupe, you just remove the dupe, then do it next turn. You know what I mean? Or do it the next challenge you lose. So
it eats through dupes, which is cool.
It does eat through dupes, and then you can obviously do you can obviously do like a Targ Sun deck if you want to Dracarys and quicken the pace of this card if you really want to.
The way the reaction works though is the character won't actually die from burn because it doesn't reduce strength. It's important to note that it means that you can kill that character quicker once the venom's gone.
Yeah, you can kill it quicker. So you just Dracarys something, and then you basically tell your opponent they can't they can't win another challenge that round, or that person dies.
Yeah.
Which is it could have its applications, and it could stall a game out, and obviously Martell loves losing, so.
Yep.
They have other shit that's doing that anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's a good card. I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's compiling, and I think I see. I mean, there's already been a lot of comments on Facebook and on different articles, and it seems people are either. There was an expression I used a few casts ago was ni chaud ni froid. So I think they're either really hot for this card or really cold for this card. There's no middle ground. I mean, we don't, in general, I think people around on this cast don't play Martell that much. Maybe Dave plays a bit of everything, and he plays it as a banner. So, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of these Martell players out there that are saying, oh, what are you talking about? This card's awesome. And you're right, it's got all the right triggers. And then everyone else who maybe doesn't play as much Martell right now is looking at it and saying, meh, it's okay, it's another condition attachment. You can easily overwhelm your opponent with condition attachments or attachments, and people are generally only playing Confiscation. More and more now, everybody's on the train of Rattleshirt Raiders are garbage because their cost for strength ratio and they're not efficient, so...
I hate putting them in decks, man. I just think, what a fuck.
I understand, but there's some decks in which they work better than others, and they're worth it. And I'm wondering if the fact that Wildling's going to be the new hotness right now, if we're going to see more Rattleshirts in competitive or in good decks, they serve their purpose. I don't know. To me, this is a well-designed card. I don't know that it's OP. The cost is obviously very, very interesting. I know one thing's for sure is I'm going to fucking hate it very soon when somebody plays it against me. Mm-hmm. And I can see somebody putting it on one of your big characters and you're just thinking, you start winning challenges. You win 1, you win 2, you win 3, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, this time bomb's like fucking annoying. Am I really going to blow my Confiscation on this? And next thing you know, whoop, they slip in a milk or... I don't know. I just see it as a pain in the ass, which is generally what Martell decks want to do. So it's probably a good card.
Yeah, they like their losing triggers. I don't know. I actually don't know how good this card is. I'm looking at it, and my brain screams that the sort of safe spot for putting this on a character is probably somewhere within the region of 1 to 3. 1 to 3 strength characters. I feel like that's where it's really going to shine. I think once you get into 4s and 5s, there's ways to play around it. You only have to lose sort of. You can get away with only losing letting Martell only lose 1 or 2 challenges a phase. You can always oppose a challenge and they'll still win, and it won't trigger then.
But you have to start winning challenges eventually.
Yeah,
you do.
You can't just stop winning challenges because
you're not. The thing is, you're not gonna be like, this card's like, I've got this card on my character. I'm just gonna. That's it. I'm shut down. Now. One character. My day. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I love your accent.
Well, it causes probably exactly what we've been crying about and wanting, right? I mean, everybody in the chat right now is mentioning all sorts of burn effects like Astapor that's coming out or the Plaza or stuff like that. And yes, this does make this card better, but that's one specific deck.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if we're rating the card for one. And in those decks is probably awesome, but even just the fact that, like I say, you're losing challenges and you're watching this clock tick on one of your main characters, it'll be annoying as fuck. I don't know how much play it sees competitively, but I know it's an annoying card.
I think I said, like, what I was trying to do with it today when I was playing with it was I was playing against Baratheon and he had Crescent out and I had Craven and I had Lingering Venom. And I thought what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get him to use his Crescent on my Craven. So I played out the Craven, and sure enough, it got Crescent. And then I put the Lingering Venom on what's his name, on Crescent.
I think you did that the other way around.
No, I wanted Crescent dead. I wanted him out of the game because I had another 2 Cravens in my hand. I had all 3 fucking Cravens, and I had Island Ravens on the board as well. But you know, like, if you can realistically get rid of 2 to 3 strength characters quite easily by forcing losses. Let's say you attack with a bastard daughter or a chud, and you're like, right, are you really going to lose this chump challenge? Are you really going to lose it? You're going to let me win just because you've got this Lingering Venom on? You know, I feel it's better with those kind of, like, you know, little crappy challenges to sort of force them into difficult decisions rather than being like, I'm going to put this on a 4-cost guy, just hopefully whittle him down over the course of the game. I just think that's, like, not really a particularly effective use of it. And I honestly don't know, like, how good this is. I really don't. And maybe it will prove to be highly irritating for things like, I can see it being really good on things like Arya. You know, Arya would hate this fucking card.
As great.
Someone in the chat mentioned in the chat mentioned Bran.
Bran, yeah, it's a fucking
throw that on them. So
good on
that
you,
guy.
Chat man. Bran.
Good on you, the chat.
So there are certain
Chat man.
highly
Felix Adam.
Felix Adam. There's certain really highly effective characters this card would be great on. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just not. It doesn't scream it's incredible one way or another to me. I think it's good, but I think you have to be a bit clever with it, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
You got to work with it. You got to work. Make it work for you.
So on to the next one. One quick thing: Lingering Venom with the new Aemon would be pretty fun. Just saying. Anyways, we got Jane Poole.
Who's reading this?
We've already seen this one, so don't spend too much time on it.
Isn't it?
Is it me?
I feel like I've heard Shamar read like the last 5 cards.
I have the best voice,
Day has the last one,
so
right?
I can read everything.
Who did Lingering Venom?
Lingering Venom was, I don't even know, but
That was Shomar, so it's you now, yeah?
yeah.
All right,
So
see you, Sharma. It's all on you.
No, it's the other way. It was Day, and this is Shomar. So
okay. So Jane Poole, we won't spend too much time because we've seen this card. It's been beaten into the ground. So Jane Poole, she's obviously unique. House Stark non-loyal, cost 2, strength 1, intrigue, and power icon. She's a companion. Marshalling action, sacrifice Jane Poole to return a lady character from your discard pile to your hand.
She's handy.
So I just got Velard and lost my dupe and my Catelyn with 7 power on her.
Mm-hmm.
It seems pretty good to get that dupe back.
Yep.
For 2 gold, it seems like a pretty good deal to me.
yeah, okay. I guess getting dupes, yeah.
It's situational, and then, you know, shit like marching Arya and then replaying her and getting her dupe back and stuff like that.
They're putting a lot of effort in the Stark sacrifice stuff, and it hasn't been panning out that well competitively, right? It's always fun. At a game night kit, there's always a guy who's playing it, and Fat Cat works off of it, but I mean, it's not winning Gen Con or Stalik.
Not yet.
No.
But
I think the Stark Fat Cat sacrifice build is fucking good, man. And
it's fun. Oh yeah, but
I think it's better than fun. I think it's good if you build it right. Yeah, no, it's a good deck, that one.
Keep in mind Dan's title.
The Jagmaster.
Yeah, that's true. Because I was going to say
my Fat Cat deck, I was something like 25 wins and 5 losses there. I think
I did enjoy watching you just wreck Darren Hazelden with that deck.
You can win in turn 2 with that deck. It's not to be. If you build it right, it's not to be fucked about with, man.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, Stark can rush without the Fat Cat and the whole sacrifice thing.
They can, yes, I will give you that.
And we're talking about, I mean, sometimes it's risky, your board presence, whatever. I mean, we're already spending more time on a character that we know has good icon spread and an ability that's iffy. But I'm just saying that the whole Fat Cat deck is fun. There's always a guy there. He's going to win a GNK because he actually went 3-0 or something like that. But take it to a big tournament, odds are you may go 3-3, right?
Yeah, no. Anyway, that aside, you know, she definitely goes in that Fat Cat sacrifice deck. But really, if you're looking for uses outside of her, then she gets your Lady Dupes. But the thing I don't like about her though, is it's quite an expensive cost to basically let's say we do your scenario, Joe, where you march Arya, yeah, So you've just marched Arya, who's 3 gold. Then to get Arya back, you essentially need to spend 5 gold, and that seems like quite a lot. You play Jane, you sacrifice her, you get
No,
your
duped
Arya
Arya,
back.
duped Arya.
Well,
I think you're saying
she's
she's duped.
No.
Oh, right.
If you
If you march her,
Arya,
she's gone.
like,
True.
Yeah,
That's
or whatever. Let's say whatever. You lose a Sansa from your hand to intrigue claim, and you think, oh no, I really want that.
Yeah.
You are essentially paying an extra 2 gold tax to get that back. I think, yeah, it's a very niche use, and I probably would only play her because Stark got loads of good characters, haven't they? I'd probably only play her in the Stark sacrifice deck personally. I don't know. She's good, but I don't know how much do you want those dupes or how much do you want those characters back. I'm not really sure. I don't think she's that good personally.
I think in Tyrell Stark, you also like getting dupes of margin charge or whatever,
That's
Tinder marge, or whatever you want to call it.
That's a fair shout, yeah. And as a banner card, she's definitely got a bit more application.
Yeah, you'll find uses for it.
It's just lady, right? Yeah.
So on to Summer. Anybody? Summer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Summer, Bueller, Summer, Bueller.
Summer.
Joe.
All right, that's you, Joe.
Summer.
All right. So 1 cost Stark attachment, non-loyal. 1 cost, I said that. Direwolf, unique Stark character only. Action, kneel attached character to have it participate in a military challenge on your side. Limit once per challenge, and then it has the requisite action, pay 1 gold to attach Summer to a different character thing. So, go on.
If I'm giving great cards 2 thumbs up, I give this one 1 thumb up just for theme. I enjoy how they're doing direwolves as characters but as attachments. I find that's actually interesting and intelligent, how they follow around the kids and they give abilities. This, however, is not the best one of them. It's interesting. If only the naval-like ability, which is the 1.0 term, would not be on like the only challenge that Stark has no problems whatsoever in having characters participate. They're giving them a lot of this military theme, which is okay. I guess it's faction identity, and I keep complimenting them for this. But Stark so far is the only faction that has these naval-like abilities. It's one of the main reasons I played them when they had, what was the little 2-cost character that actually did that with the direwolves also?
The Kennel Master.
Yeah.
The Kennel Master. When the Kennel Master came out, Stark was fun. I don't know if I won a gazillion tournaments. I thought it was fun. The plot is great.
Those things were really, really good for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, for a while. Exactly. They live about a
It
month.
was weird how quickly that guy dropped
A good
off.
10
He was
days.
Well,
everywhere for
the
about
deluxe box came out, and everyone's like, "Wait, I can just play Fast Eddie? I'm just gonna play Fast Eddie."
Yeah, totally changed how. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and for those who don't know, sorry to cut you off. Naval in 1.0, it was just a little boat icon which was on your challenge icon, and all that it meant was you would initiate a challenge with whoever, and then you could naval in a character after you see who your opponent puts in.
Cavalry for L5R players.
There you go. Thanks.
So,
Card games tend to have abilities that are similar to this. In this game right now, they have not created the ability. They tend to do it as an action like this. It's interesting if the game ever goes back to being very aggro like we had last year. Maybe it'll see some use, but I don't see it. Like I say, I love the theme, I love the card, I love the art, I love the idea, but I would prefer paying 2 for Ghost out of Night's Watch than paying 1 for this.
I do want to point out that it gets around Cravens, which is nice. So, you know.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, what you can't ignore about this effect is it has a Wardens of the West like effect, and we all hate playing around that plot, don't we? You know, when they reveal that plot, you're just like, well, you're gonna win some form of challenge that you want to win, you know.
And BTW.
Oh.
BTW. You don't need the icon.
No,
you don't need the icon. So core Caitlyn can just hang out in the military challenge, make it so that you can't do put to the swords, you can't do.
Yeah. But a lot of the Stark decks that were playing Caitlyn that needed an effect like this for a turn in an aggro meta were using the plot, and we're all paying for Sirio anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Cheaper.
I'm saying it's a good card. Increase the cost to 2 and make it that you can do it for any challenge type.
Nah,
Fuck
bro.
that.
Okay,
true.
listen, it's funny how
Boo this
everybody
man.
only wants good cards for their factions, right? But that's what I'm saying. If it would be something like that, then everybody would be like, yeah, this card's bonkers. It's great. We got to remember, it's still an attachment. It suffers from the same hate that all the other attachments do and whatnot, But I'm just saying, give it something more than this, or change the icon or the challenge. Stark have a problem with intrigue. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
not good.
intrigue would have been better, but they're not an intriguing faction. They're not.
They're
not
not.
good. They're not
There's
good.
Also,
big
there's one thing.
brutes.
There's one thing no one's mentioned with this card. There is definitely room for sneakiness here. It's
Yes.
got the lady effect of moving it for gold. So, let's say you put ice on, I don't know, a chud with a power icon, and your opponent's like, "What?" They forget about it. It totally spins them out, and then you've
If you
got
don't
summer,
see that
summer.
coming, then fuck you.
Yeah,
Hey,
just
people
stop playing.
miss stuff. Like you can get tunnel vision in games. You can be focusing on one thing. You can have threats somewhere else. I'm just saying that the fact that you can move it around.
What?
Sometimes people look at that gold and they'll be like, oh, maybe he's got an event he wants to play. Maybe he's saving it for nightmares, and they'll just miss the fact that you can move the walls for
The
gold.
fact that you have ice on Jane Poole.
Dan, I too,
ice on Jane Poole.
I too enjoy playing bad players.
It happens.
The one thing we haven't mentioned yet is that Core Summer is a great card.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Which
use
is
it to go
hard.
dig out a Bran, or you dig out a Arya, or you dig out a Sansa, or whatever.
How long does Core Summer stick around once they've done that?
He doesn't, but
doesn't,
every
yeah.
Stark deck plays one of though.
Yeah.
every
So
Stark
you
deck
can
plays
have
one
one of
of
each
those.
summer. Once one gets discarded.
Yeah.
I don't
You
actually see
could
that.
do that. It's just a matter of you don't want to be unable to get your Bran because this is attached to somebody. I don't know. I think that it doesn't suffer the same problems as other cards that have two copies, like Aemon. Like it's really hard to get the second Aemon into your deck because core Aemon's so great. This doesn't have that problem, but it is kind of it's kind of a that's one of the first cards you put into a Stark deck in a lot of cases. Just one copy of Summer, just to dig into your pile whenever you need to for that.
Copy of Summer, copy of Grey Wind, and Time for Wolves. You can never go wrong with that little holy trinity of cards. But then, because Time for Wolves exists, you don't really have to worry about playing this attachment. You can be like, well, I know I can't play the attachment until I've used Time for Wolves to go get Summer and get my Bran back. I don't really see an issue with the whole running one of each sort of thing. And you don't even have to play the Summer. The main issue with this Summer is it worth a slot in your deck?
Yeah, that's the question, and the answer to that is I don't fucking know. I don't play Stark.
Nah, it's
I
not.
don't-
It's
I-
not
I'm not
worth
sure.
it.
I think
the real
ladies
combo is just the
probably better.
Caitlyn. If it's all for core Caitlyn, it's not worth it. And I think that's what the biggest use that people are going to see is getting her to block any other triggers, and it's not worth it if you're going to put one card in just to work with another single card.
We're going around in circles. It's a tricky card in a faction that doesn't play tricky cards. They play safe cards. They cancel your tricks. They're efficient and they're fast.
Yeah.
Going around in a
It's in the
square.
wrong faction.
In a square.
You're right.
All right, on to the
All right,
next one.
all right.
Targaryen.
Wait. Fine. Who gets this?
Targaryen.
Dan, you get this.
That's me.
Rise from the ashes.
Yes. And everybody will be happy about this one, probably. It's a Targaryen card. 5 cost. Military and power icon. 10 strength. Dothraki honor. Am I reading the right card? Is
Yeah.
that what you're laughing
Yeah.
at?
Yeah, you're good.
No, just it's a funny card.
Dothraki honor guard, which is non-unique, non-loyal. Traits are army, Dothraki guard, no attachments. And the text says, Dothraki honor guard gets -1 strength for each card in your hand. Day.
Well, I think this is a pretty good card. Targaryen players, they generally like to play with slightly smaller hands. I don't know. I mean, obviously, like you're punished by this card for draw. So if you've got draw in your deck, which every deck does want, you don't want to be like, oh sweet, I'm not gonna put any draw in my deck because I've got this fucking lit 10 strength army.
I hear top decking is very exhilarating.
Yeah, we've all been games where you've ended up lagging behind and you're sweating a bit and you've gone into top deck mode, and then all of a sudden you just absolutely beast this guy in, and you're feeling a lot safer after that. I think he's a great card. I've only just seen its no attachments, which I guess makes it probably better. But this is almost one of those cards. There are certain cards where like, would I milk my own card? Would I
You'll nightmare your own card.
Yeah,
I would nightmare this guy on attack.
Yeah.
Why the hell not?
I nightmares the Yoren Hound once. That was fun. To stop him bouncing back at
Yeah.
That was really fun.
I like nightmaresing the Hound after they Harrenhal him in. That's one of my favorite plays.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good one. But yeah, no, this card is just awesome. You're probably gonna have, assuming unless you've just done a Counting Copper's turn, in which case you're probably not gonna play this guy anyway, because you may not be able to afford it, or it may not just be the right thing.
Slaver's Bay Port, you can afford anything.
Yeah, I actually do want to say it's insane how much Econ Targ have now. Like I just played a game versus Darren for coming on this cast tonight, and he had 7 or 8 gold every turn. He had he had Slaver's Bay Port, Beggar King, the fucking Reducers, Rose Roads. I was just like, I just couldn't keep up with it. Yeah, it was nuts. I'm actually a bit worried about the economy situation in this game. If it continues to get to a point where it just snowballs and snowballs, it might become a problem. Anyway, that's getting off topic. Focus on the car. Huh? Great Hall, yeah, that's coming too. Anyway, off topic.
I think one important thing to remember, and as we talk about economy, is the fact that this could make Dothraki C more playable now, and so that's an even easier way to get it in. You just win a power challenge and you throw these guys in. It's not like they get discarded at the end of the challenge phase. They go back to your hand to be Dothraki C'd again. So you can get them out in that way if that's what you need to do. And even if you had cards in your hand and they drop down to 5 strength, let's say, who cares? It's still 5 strength.
Yeah, as long as you have 5 or less cards, this card is still good,
Yeah.
And if you at 4 cards, it's great, and anything less than 4, it's going to be a very scary, serious problem that you have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's just a big, efficient, mean guy, isn't it? Not too much to say on it, other than it synergizes really well with the other card they get in this box. But we'll wait till we get to that one.
Yeah, that was one of the comments I'm gonna have also. Yeah.
It also synergizes with Old Bear. Old Bear's gonna love this guy. But
yeah, true.
You mean the new old
The new Old Bear.
The new Old Bear is gonna love this guy.
You mean that terrible card?
Give me that 10 strength character. Oh, damn it, I have 8 cards in my hand. It's a piece of crap.
Yeah, that's the problem. We're playing Night's Watch. He's going to be at 2 strength.
No, but in the Wardens of Midwest Targaryen second cycle review, we had our friend Justin Sengstock talk about the cards, and he mentioned, what the fuck's that guy's name? The old man. What's his name?
Give me any number.
Selmy? Barristan?
Yeah, Barristan Selmy. Barristan Selmy. Barristan Selmy, you already like having very few cards in your hand. This guy in tandem with Barristan Selmy, you'll get his standoff most likely. You know what I mean? So if you have a low number of cards in your hand, I think that it's good. I like it. I think he's another blunt object, but he's efficient, he's nice, and Targaryen doesn't really mind having a low card count in a lot of cases.
No. And there's ways to sort of ping its card count back up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Dany can get a couple of insights off a turn with a Standy Dragon, and you got Doreer in there as well. That's another one. They can get cards back quite rapidly when their pieces arrive on the board. They like to sort of burn through cards and replenish them very quickly. So yeah, I think depending on how clever you are with those effects, you can probably get quite a lot of use out of this guy without depleting your hand too much. Without compromising your card advantage too much. Is probably a better way of saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, any input from you there, everybody?
Any parting words?
This is one of the ones that caused a bit of a discussion in my play group because I'm not too hot on it. I'm iffy. I haven't played Targ in a long time, so maybe I should. But you're right. Whenever I play against Targ, they don't have an empty hand for very long. Whether it's Dany on Insight, whether it's Doria, whether they're counting coppers, fetching for characters, a funeral pyre. There's always it's one of them weird faction that's got like this this draw that's kind of attached
Sporadic.
to it. Or it's sporadic, but it's also it's more like a support draw that you got to do something. It's conditional, but it's always there. It's not a faction that runs out of cards. So obviously, when you look at the stats, you look at the card. My dumb ass, being so simple-minded, I look at it. I'm like, whoa, this is like efficient. What the fuck are we going to do about it? You can't, and it's not like the other armies where it's unique, so you could just Tears of List it away or anything like that, right? But at the same time, it almost feels like you're penalizing yourself for playing smart and actually having cards in hand, right? Or you want this guy to be awesome. You're going to practically empty your hand. Next thing you know, your opponent valors.
Yeah.
Because you want this guy. I don't know. To me, and everybody keeps telling me in my play, yeah, but this card with the other card, but this card with the other card that's coming up. And it's like, but you don't understand. They're not necessarily a tandem. Yes, one of them facilitates the other one, but the next card is actually great without this.
Mhm.
So
The next card is fantastic.
So
the
let's
next
jump
card
into the
is
next card,
5 out
yeah?
of 5.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's an awesome card. I need to fiddle around with Targ. I need to go back to Targ and see. But the next one, I'm excited
All
about
right, and here it is, and who gets to read it?
The
Me,
next
this.
baby.
Yeah, buddy.
Me.
Plaza of Pride.
The Plaza of Pride. It's the second plaza that Targaryen have got. I hope they continue with plazas. It's a one-cost location. It's Asta portraited, and it reads: Action. Kneel the Plaza of Pride and discard a card from your hand to choose and stand a character with printed cost X or lower. X is
Higher.
3 higher than the printed cost of the discarded card. So at the very least, at the very worst case scenario, you can stand a card that's 4 cost. That's what I get from this.
Unless it's a zero cost event, then you stand.
Unless it's a 0 cost event, but you're probably not discarding a 0 cost.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You're probably not discarding.
What have you got there? You know, you're not going to be getting rid of your raiding the Bay of Ices for this. You're definitely not going to be getting rid of your hands judgments to stand a guard, eh? You'd probably just chuck a dupe.
I'm just correcting your worst case scenario, bro. Got you back. I got you.
But it's very, very powerful, and it's non-loyal as well. So this is going to be this actually gives a bit of life to the dragon banner, which is actually one of the crappier banners in the game at the minute. You know, I remember when Ryan had to play a stupid Martell Dragon charity deck, which he didn't get to choose.
What was the banner of the NA champ at Gen Con?
Banner Dragon. Yeah, what?
Oh, it was. Oh shit,
Yeah.
my bad.
It was.
Lanny
was trying
Dragon is a dead build, man.
I was trying to help you prove your point, but I failed.
But different meta, different deck though. He was using the aggro stuff.
When Miri was good and you couldn't just valor her off the board next turn because there was literally no way of saving her other than her own duplicates, which you never drew into because they didn't really have very good draw. You know, two can play that game, bro. Dragon Banner is crap at the minute because
is that true, bro?
yeah, this makes it better though. This and the army make it a lot better.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, anyway, it's not my turn to discuss this card. It's a Shoma.
As Dan said, I think that this card is great even without having to play the Dothraki Honor Guard. As far as jank goes, my jank for this was to play this with Greyjoy and then make
shocking
and make but listen, guys, listen. And then it would make playing Ours is the Old Way reasonable. Because you drop Ours is the Old Way for 4.
Just use it to stand you're on.
And then you can stand all the 7s and you're good to go. So I think this is fantastic. I love this card. It's great.
All you need to do is include a couple of these. 3 of Ours is the Old Way, which basically serves as fuel for it.
And then
Shamar has a really bad habit of giving awful advice about cards like this podcast. Play the stupid little fucking monocons that ambush weapons. It's a great card.
If you're a new player,
ambush ice. Keep 3 so that you can always threaten to ambush ice. You're gonna keep 3 gold to ambush ice.
They'll never defend.
You got to think outside the box. If you're a new player, and you know we just talked about how great raiding the Bay of Ice is, now you can take 2 locations in 1 turn just by dropping this card to restand Euron, and you just have to find your Ours is the Old Way, and take it out of your book that you're using to bookmark pages, and you're good to go.
If you're a new player and you're coming to the Montreal, to the Laval BD Cosmos Regional, please listen to Shomar. And I hope I have to play you in the round robin.
Hey, and I hope you win. I hope you win off that shit. One extra renown and you're good to go.
But let's focus on actual infaction. Like Targa, I feel like they're this sort of silent force in the meta right now. They're not really everyone's favorite. They're not the most played. They're not really considered the strongest faction, but they've started to get good cards now, and they're just sneaking in, and all their old themes are getting better, and they've got so much fucking stand. It's infuriating now. They've got
so
Waking the Dragon.
Stand.
Yeah. They've got economy and stand, and those are two really, really powerful
Scary and
hard
So,
themes.
So my initial reaction when I saw this card was, this is badass to pour. That was a dud. I'm sorry about that one. Anyway, the first thing I actually thought was that I might want to run Night's Watch Dragon because of this card, because Baratheon's such a big problem, and I know I just made fun of Shamar for slotting it into his faction, but I just did the same thing.
Yeah, but it's a different combo though, and it's in a different faction.
Yeah, Night's Watch's biggest weakness obviously is Baratheon Neil, and this would be a really easy way to assuage that problem. So I don't know. That's my take on it. It's good against Baratheon, and I fucking hate Baratheon. So
what would your other 10 Targaryen banner cards be in your Night's Watch fealty deck? Sorry, your Night's Watch wall deck that was running Banner Dragon.
Oh, I'd only need 9 others. First of all,
so you'd have this. This is a 3 of them. Boom.
Are you kidding?
Wow, why not for the cost?
Yeah, I'd replace Castle Black with this card, I think.
And you know what's great?
Yeah, that's fair enough, actually.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I play a lot of Destiny, okay? And one of the fun things in Destiny is your cards have 2 purposes. You can actually play them and pay for them, or you can always discard them to re-roll the fucking dice because it's a dice mechanic, and it kind of helps stabilize your dice. So you're getting 2 abilities out of card. See, that's why I'm not as keen on the army as I am on this, because this actually helps you and gives you something for playing smart, keeping cards in hand, and helps you if you're drawing well or if you're playing well. So if you're playing this in a banner in a faction that draws a lot, whether it be Night's Watch, Tyrell, any faction where you're drawing and you're making decisions and you're converting these cards into using them for a different effect, it's a smart play. And if you got this as a 3 of, you can always chuck it. And then it says, 3 higher than the printed cost. You could actually use this on a 4-cost character. It's just the dupe itself. So right then and there. So see, this is great design. This is a smart play. If you're slotting in for the stand tech in a faction that's got a lot of draw. Yeah. And that's just relating one game to the next. When I saw this, I thought of Destiny, and there's so many cards sometimes, we already have this or this or this. Who cares? You're drawing into them. You're getting rid of the stuff you don't want. You're chucking it to this card. So that's why I believe that this card does not need to work with the army, whereas people are kind of telling me it works the other way around. But you're right. I could see it in Night's Watch. If you're going for a stand build in Night's Watch and you want to stand, this, Illyrio, whatever is their next stand tech.
Yeah, they got loads of it, man. A lot of stand.
You can run a 4th set of 1-costers. That'd be
Very
nice.
It's probably the standout card of the box for some. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's.
Well,
I know
a lot of people
went
that far.
Maybe non-Night's Watch cards. Yeah, of non-Night's Watch cards, maybe.
Out of non-Night's Watch cards.
Of factioned cards, I would say it's one of the best. Yeah. With Maria, Seaworth, and Raiding the Bay of Ice, I think this is one of the 3 or 4 best factioned cards.
And you wait till Astapor and Grey Worm come out, and you'll be seeing a lot of Targ around.
May I will be running Lay Siege in all of my decks for that bullshit. Fuck.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Anyway, on to John Fossaway. Who's going to do John Fossaway?
He does sound like kind of a prick, doesn't he?
He's so boring.
Yeah. There's a footballer from the 80s here called John Fashanu, and none of you will get the reference.
Nope.
There's a British comedy called Day to Day that ridiculed John Fashanu with his name, and it sounded like John Fashanu. And I just look at this guy and I think of that. He's always going to be John Fossaway for me. You know?
Actually,
Anyway,
I
whatever
think this
you
card
say,
is. I
Dan.
think this card is me, right? Because
Yes.
Davey is the last one. So we got Sir John Fossaway. It's Tyrell, 4 cost military and intrigue with 4 strength. He is a knight and he is non-loyal. This is very easy. While Sir John Fossaway's strength is 5 or higher, he gains renown.
You mean he only has to gain 1 more strength than he has in order to have renown? Well, that's just crazy, man.
Discuss,
The-
Joe.
The most interesting part of this card is the fact that the Fossaway House's sigil is an apple. I mean, honestly, the text itself is so mind-numbingly boring.
Oh, it is, isn't it? This is a really boring card.
This is the driest card in this entire box. It's just like 4 for 4, 2 icons, and whenever I pump him, he gets renown.
Great. Yeah.
Fantastic.
What you may not know about this card, though, Joe, is that it has not 1 but 2 icons, and occasionally, when you enter into a scenario, let's say as a Tyrell player, when I don't know, they have a lot of strength pumps, for example, and you can actually make his strength exceed its printed strength, so he goes up to 5, 6, maybe even 9 in a crossing build if you're going right out there.
Do
What
Tyrell
happens then is he gets renown, Joe, and that helps you win games.
do Tyrell cards? Do they have pumps? Do they have strength pumps of any kind?
I hear it's a thing. I mean, I
There's
a
can't be
couple.
sure.
I mean, okay. I mean, if you say, hey, if you say so,
You know,
hands
You
up.
know-
Whatever you say.
you know what
Do we
makes
even
this,
do we have to even have to spend loads? Sorry, go on, Dan. Carry on.
you know what makes this card better?
I don't know his name.
Him saying there are no men like
There's
me.
no men like me. Yeah. I mean, I guess. Yeah, for the one.
No, you're right. I mean, it's a good card. It's an efficient card. It's a Tyrell card. It's a one of in Tyrell decks. Move on.
Move on.
Excellent. The
John
honey
Fossaway.
wine. Let's go, Joe.
Yeah, honey
The
for money.
honey. The honey wine.
All right, here we
It's a
go.
non-loyal House Tyrell location, 2 cost. The reach traded reaction after you win a challenge by 5 or more strength as the attacking player. The honey wine gains 1 power.
Dan. So
Again,
boring.
more of the same.
Yeah.
Good card, boring card. Strength matters is a theme that I'm happy they're bringing back for Tyrell because it's a faction identity. But okay, we're just making Tyrell faster, and it's that's it. Good card.
I love that they're making Tyrell faster because they're really slow. If you guys did.
Yeah, they fucking love to. hang
It took
around.
until turn 3 to win with them. It's fucking sad. It makes me sad watching them.
What?
It's like,
a whole
oh,
15 minutes?
I know it's a whole 15 minutes to win with this faction.
Can we just go over how I actually like worryingly strong Tyrell are as a faction now? I mean, like, the whole top 4 of Betha was Tyrell decks.
Oh, I
3 of
believe it.
which were the same deck. They were all Tyrell Crossing. There were 3 Tyrell Crossing and a Tyrell Night's Watch deck, which was actually just I think a false banner wall deck. And yeah, that speaks volumes to me. This sort of shit, like Randall. There's so much redundancy for Randall now that you have to be building your deck really, really stupidly if you can't get at least two renown on him a turn. Yeah, if you can't get both of his stands off and you can be in 2 challenges, you're doing something wrong. And I know I can't speak about it because I'm Swan 60, but they are getting another location later on in this cycle, which is more strength pump. So there's more redundancy coming.
I love how Dan, people tell him secrets, and he just says, "I know a secret, but I'm not going to tell you the secret."
No.
Completely defeating the purpose that it's a fucking secret.
I never reveal my sources. A magician never
But
reveals.
Can I be Captain Obvious again?
Sure, please do.
You know what this is? Welcome to the meta swing. We mentioned it in part 1, right? One of the ways you beat the clock decks is you go rush. Maybe we're starting to see that rush is going to become something. And when all these Tyrell decks, all these Stark decks, a bunch of crossing decks start coming out, the meta's going to switch. That's what's going to win. We're going to have to adjust our play style. I agree that it's a scary build because right now, none of my decks are really equipped to deal with it. We played a GNK 3 weeks ago. I was playing Barrakraken. My fucking Barrakraken is a stupid-ass fast Barrakraken. And I was playing against Tyrell Stark, and I couldn't even keep up with him.
No.
And that was my only loss. The guy went 4-0. So this is where the meta is going. we're gonna have to adjust. Well, I don't know if it's this where we're going, but I'm guessing, right? Because how do you attack?
It is. The stall decks have been a thing for so long now. Everyone's fucking pissed off.
Exactly.
Having to get stalled out, and everyone's naturally gravitating towards rush decks. And obviously, this card slots right in along. It's kind of like it's Street of the Sisters, isn't it? It really reminds me of. You pay an extra gold for it, but you don't have to kneel your faction cards. But it's essentially the same trigger, and you're still
theoretically do it more than once.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, you can do it.
But if you're winning more than one challenge by 5 every single and like on a turn, it's like.
It was already.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
What is your opponent even doing? What is their game plan?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's quite a few factions that could probably build quite good rush builds now. Joe, I'm actually going to talk about one with you in private after this podcast because this is actually giving me an idea. But anyway, secret tech. But
All right.
All right,
Onto Rattleshirt.
Onto the neutral card.
Dan is the master of secrets.
Rattleshirt.
Matt,
whose
This is
turn
me. It's me, isn't it? 39. Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I jotted them down. Me.
Yep.
All right. So we have our first neutral character, 6 cost, military and power.
Is he?
Called Rattleshirt.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Is he what?
Are you
No, you're
okay,
good, you're
Dan?
good.
Yeah, I'm okay.
there you go.
Hello.
Yeah, you're good.
Carry
Nope.
on, mate.
Yeah.
Carry on. You're all good.
So I said unique. His name Rattleshirt. He has the trait Wildling, obviously. And text box says while Rattleshirt is attacking alone, each character without attachments cannot be declared as a defender. You want me to read the flavor text, or should we move on today?
We can go on.
You can read the flavor text. Go on. You'll probably make him sound very friendly with your accent, though.
Did I
Yeah.
say French?
He'll be so
I'll boil the-
polite.
Friendly Wildling.
That's what
I'll
you
boil the
Canadians
flesh
are.
off of you and make. Okay, I can't anymore. I'm laughing.
Yeah, this card.
I'll blow the flesh off you, buddy. And
I'll
make a
blow
Bernie from your ribs, friend. I'll chop your teeth to cast me runes, guy.
Yeah.
And eat and eat me oaten porridge from your skull, buddy.
Yeah.
Terrifyingly friendly.
I've mixed feelings about this card. I think he looks very, very solid. I think Greyjoy probably quite like him. He's got a few glaring problems, though. The fact that he is a wildling only, so he's not a lord or anything. You can't put bodyguards on him. He's going to be difficult to save, and he's expensive as well. He is very good if you want to force through some win by 5 triggers or unopposed challenges. Yeah, I don't know. He's probably quite like a little solid auxiliary one-of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're running this guy at 3. You know, if you put him down early and then he gets Ballad or something, and then you've got 2 more dead copies of him in your hand, you're probably going to be a bit pissed off. I sort of see him going into the kind of unopposed or win by 5 Greyjoy decks where you've got extra sort of saves on the table like Iron Mines, and you can make them last a bit longer. But yeah, they've got so much good stuff in their decks anyway that he's in most factions really he's going to be struggling for a slot, isn't he? You know, he's good. He's a good card, but I don't know. I'm not 100% there with him. You know. And also the fact that Bodyguard exists and very, very popular right now as well, might I add, is a bit of a fucking problem for him. You know, if this was back in the Halcyon days of Cycle 1, where basically the only attachments you were seeing were milks, then yeah, great, this guy would be awesome. But I don't know. Yeah, he's not really cutting the mustard for me at the minute, I don't think.
Small.
I think so.
I pretty much agree with Day. Even in an unopposed deck, you might fit one in, but chances are you might even overlook him. It would be nice to have him in and have Pike already on the table to give him the added ability to stealth a character with an attachment and then not have to worry about anybody else. But then that's getting into, having to have a nice board setup before he's very useful. So that kind of is unfortunate.
Crossing deck. He'd be good in a crossing deck.
In a crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there, you'd have a niche there, perhaps.
Crossing for last challenge Yeah, that's true. Or even the first challenge, because you know that you're at a deficit and you might want to win it for whatever reason. But overall, I don't really see myself, I'm not really too excited off of this one.
So I was watching The Second Sons, which for those of you who don't know, it's Roy Rogers and Aaron Glazer and some other people talking about it, and I listen to them because they're the funniest hyperbolic. Yeah, hyperbolic. Yeah, whatever it is. Hyperbolic. They are some of the most hyperbolic people I've ever listened to on a cast, and it's just funny to me. And they're saying this card is the most broken card ever, and it should be considered like the impetus for a restricted list. And,
what?
And things like that. They're saying like neutral must includes are dangerous, and this guy is a neutral must include. And I actually had a conversation with Aaron, a rather lengthy one, after I heard him say that, and he kind of threw a tantrum and started calling me an idiot and everything like that. But typical Aaron Glazer
the
stuff.
only one saying that?
But what?
Was Aaron the only one saying that on the cast, or the other guys also? Because I mean, there's some good players on them.
That cast, they kind of, I don't know if it's because they're not willing to contradict Aaron, or if they're just kind of a little hive-mindy.
Mm-hmm.
But he said like, this is restricted list, right? And everyone's like, yeah.
I mean,
they weren't.
Sorry, go on.
I think they just realized it's not worth arguing with Aaron.
Okay, because I was going to say Chris and Lucas and all the SoCal meta is a competitive meta, and they're smart. I agree the effect is powerful, but we got to be careful. I mean, there's some downsides to this card too.
Yeah, no, I told him.
A couple of questions about Aaron, not to get off topic here. He doesn't even play the game at the minute, does he?
That's what he says. He does play.
He does play.
Yeah. He does.
He sounds like a rambling old man in some of his, like,
that's
sort of senile.
That's the character.
There's no need to sidetrack it further. But Aaron has a lot. Aaron. One thing I've heard people say is that his first impression of a card is absolute garbage, but then after he tests something, he typically comes up with a pretty good reasoning. And it sounds like he has not yet played with this card. That's my impression based on that description of him. And it's true because, fish whiskers, people were saying that, like, this is basically just a fish whisker so you don't need a winter plot. Mm-hmm. And then, shit like Nightmares him, Milk him, Craven him, have a fucking attachment, Bodyguard, like you said.
Anything him.
Practice blades are very
anything, yeah.
So
I mean, the crown attachments that Tyrell liked. Every faction has a Beggar King, that Targa running attachments, attachments are pretty widespread and pretty.
There's not a ton of positive attachments, but there are enough that I don't think this guy gets out of control.
Bodyguard in every fucking deck. There's Bodyguard. I'm sorry, he's just not. Like, once upon a time, he would have been a really scary card. And even the Fish Whiskers comparison, man. Like, if you have a winter plot and no summer plot, there is fuck all you can do against Fish Whiskers apart from Nightmares. And that is scary when you've got 2 claim winter plots coming at you, coming down your throat, and they're just hitting you with, like, 2 claim military on famine turns and, all the other nasty shit. That's scary. This guy, gets blocked by this common attachment at the minute.
But the other thing is, it's kind of counterintuitive whenever you're playing. Let's say you're playing Milk, right? Because your own attachment are actually helping with defenders. But on a bigger board, I could see the impact of you could say he has impact on a small board, but you have 1 or 2 bodyguards on a bigger board. Fine, those 2 characters can defend. I'm going to throw in another guy and this guy. Boom, there's a 10 strength military. I mean, there are some uses to this guy. He is fucking annoying.
Well, he only works when attacking alone, though.
Yeah,
you're right. And when attacking alone, so I got to be careful because
unless you're playing summer.
No, you're right. But and he does work well with your Rattleshirt Raiders, so that's kind of giving them a value. And if you're going the Wildling thing with more cards that trigger off a Wildling and more Wildlings that are actually good, because let's be frank, a lot of the Wildlings were kind of garbage or chud.
I'm Joe, dude.
Okay, you could be Joe. I'll be Frank. We'll have Day and we'll have Shomar. So it depends, right? I mean, there's use to him, especially if you're going the Wildling route. He does work well with the new Jon Snow, being a Wildling, but I don't think that he's broken.
Oh, but you keep mentioning all these things where he's attacking with other people. When he's attacking with other people,
okay.
he's a blank 6 for 5.
Yeah, okay, that's true. But I mean, you have that. You have the potential of either. Oh man, you guys, it's like every ability is only an ability, right? That's the only thing that card does. Whenever you play a card, you're only playing that card. You're right, Jon Snow. You could use him, then you can stand him, and then you can use him again. Right? I mean, we're playing these cards. It's a game. We're making decisions, right?
That's your call.
Jon Snow has to be attacking with someone in order for the effect to have anything.
Maybe it's my French that's not coming through. You're right. I'm attacking him and Jon Snow, and then either stand an attacking Wildling character or stand a defending Night's Watch. I'm going to choose this Wildling character, and I'm going to attack. Okay, I'll do military with Jon Snow,
right? Yeah,
and I'll stand him, and then I'll do a power. Right? That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's combos. We're playing a game. We're making decisions. He's not totally shit, is what I'm saying. There's reasons to play him.
I don't think anyone here said he was shit.
He's not shit.
No, I know.
He's not shit. He's just expensive.
To find the space in his deck. He's expensive. He's niche use. He's quite easily counterable by a very popularly played attachment at the minute.
Yes.
And I just think there's too many. There's one build that he goes at, like crossing. Like the crossing, I definitely see an argument for it there. I just don't think he's not making those slots over your in faction 6 costers, which are pretty great for all things considered. You know, I'm not putting this guy in over Corrin. You know, you're probably not putting him in over Targaryen, are you, Shame? I'm fucking definitely.
The hyperbole squad also mentioned Great Hall. You know, this guy's a 6 cost. Great Hall is.
Everyone's tugging themselves off of a Great Hall already.
They are. They're loving it. They're oof. But anyway,
whatever. It's not even out yet. We'll worry about that when it comes to it. Anyway,
he's all right. Next one, Dala, and that is Day.
Okay, so Dala is a 5-cost wildling with intrigue and power icons, strength 3, wildling traded, obviously.
God, we have so many cards left.
We're good. We're good.
We're fine, mate. We're fine. Reaction: after a wildling character enters play under your control, draw 1 card, limit once per phase. So yeah, over to you, Shamar.
She's expensive, but she's free draw. I mean, it's decent if you're playing a wildling deck and you have a ton of wildlings out. Then fantastic. You're not gonna play her in like a deck that's just running 3 wildling scouts because she costs too much. You're not gonna get her effect off. So what's the point? I don't know. It opens up the idea of playing the wildling decks because now we have a whole slew of them. So I mean, I like that aspect of it. But in the grand scheme of things, is she going to be very useful? Probably not.
She's quite niche, isn't she?
I saw some people comparing her to Littlefinger. I think that's pretty apt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's the Littlefinger that lasts more than a turn.
And he comes out much easier. With
a
noble.
Being a lord, but
then this doesn't get the gold and everything like that. But it's just draw off of a relatively good body. I think this is one of the best. I think this is probably the best Bicon you can ask for, an intrigue power. You know,
5/3 though.
Because
it
5/3 is not. It helps factions that actually need that. Yeah. But the 2 icons and it's neutral draw. I mean,
and she triggers herself.
She does work off of herself.
Yeah.
And most of you guys don't play Lannister, but almost, maybe not every, but almost many of the Lannister decks are playing Littlefinger right now because Lannister's one weakness is, well, actually she helps with 2, right? She's got the power icon, and Lannister doesn't draw very well.
No. This actually, Dan, do you know what? That's quite insightful of you there. I think this character. No. It's a really.
It happens. You know?
I was looking at this character and I was thinking,
a broken clock, right?
No, I was just thinking, fucking, everyone's gonna like think this is great. This is the card we've been waiting for to make Manta Raider finally good. And I think Manta's shit personally, but and I don't think this card makes
How
any.
dare you?
But I was thinking, how else can you consistently get wildlings in multiple phases, and what faction can do that? And yeah, it's Lannister, the Harrenhal bollocks. So yeah, that's a totally fair.
She's not a Lannister character, right?
No, but let's say you had Lannister wildlings, like the Kiddo Hearts deck of old, yeah? You marshal a wildling, bam, that's 1 card. And then Harrenhal in a second one, bam, that's a second. So Lannister, could reliably be drawing two cards a turn from this, and that's pretty good.
I like that it's once per
Worth
phase,
mentioning.
so you can do it in marshalling and then again in challenges.
Right.
If you even if you're just getting a card off her a turn, you know, you ideally want her on the board longer than 2 turns to get the most out.
But by the way, I don't think there's any Wildling Lannister characters, are there?
I don't think so, not yet. But
You can't
you know what else this facilitates is
Keep fact checking you.
That's good, Jay. Thank God you're here.
People were throwing in these wildling bills for fun whenever the meta was kind of stale, mostly out of Tyrell, but I saw a few others, whether it be Lannister stuff, so you had more neutrals and you just keep a little bit of those. So this facilitates that. We're finally getting good wildlings, which aren't just Mance with the big body, the Tricon, and the Renown. So yeah, it's a good card. It'll be fun.
She's decent.
Yeah. Do you, I have a feeling they'll probably introduce more wildling cards that allow you either to ambush in wildlings or bring them in somehow in different phases. That's what this card says to me. And if they do that, then I think she gets a hell of a lot better.
Didn't 1.0 actually have a wildling agenda at 1.2?
You're asking the wrong guy.
I know, but Shomar is the only.
I can't remember there being. I know there were like wildling specific decks. I just can't remember the agenda.
Okay. So
anyways.
if there was, they're kind of heading in that direction, which is okay. I wouldn't mind having neutral decks. It'll add some flavor, and if not, well.
They all suck balls though. But that's another story. So Crow Killers. Speaking of 1.0, they reused this art, which pissed me off because I hate when they pull in 1.0 art. It's terrible.
How dare they?
So Crow Killers, another wildling, military and intrigue, again 2 strength but 3 cost this time. Crow Killers does not kneel when declared as an attacker against an opponent whose reserve value is higher than yours. Screw you, Night's Watch. Suck it.
Yeah, they're definitely Crow Killers. You know, you just do two standing challenges with
2 strength and
this
lose.
guy. You know, it works great with retaliation because you got 4 reserve on that plot, and you know, it's nice.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not winning the challenge.
Awkward cost slot, isn't it? This guy.
The cost slot is garbage, yeah. But if you're running a lot of 2 claim plots that have low reserve, it's gonna fit in.
Yeah. I'd say that's probably the one kind of deck that goes in. I mean, but how many decks do that now?
Not many, but there's always one that keeps coming back, which is a mini curve 2 claim plot, and I could see somebody slotting this in.
Yeah, the Greyjoy Winter deck that Whamma uses probably likes this card quite a bit.
Yeah, no econs for you. Yeah, I guess it does go in there actually. And my friend Matt Such, who had a really nasty Greyjoy Winter deck, he'd probably like this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I'm not. It doesn't make me froth at the mouth of excitement.
You don't cream your jeans over it.
I don't.
I'm not even
no creamy jeans.
Jeans at the minute, so no. Jeans are very much clean after looking at this card.
Well, they're in the closet, right?
I mean, I think it's God. You know, spending loads of time on cards like this isn't particularly interesting because, you know, standard non-kneel is always great. It's just a shame that the body that this is attached to is not the best. But
all right,
your response is whoop-de-doo, Basil.
It's a little bit really.
Pretty much.
So on to Frozen Shore then, and that is to Joe.
Neutral location, 2 cost. The Frozen Shore unique. The North trait again, wonderful trait. Reaction: after you win a challenge, kneel the Frozen Shore to choose and stand 1 attacking wildling character for each winter plot card revealed. I love stand.
I love stand too. So it really feels to me like the way that they intend for this wildling theme to go is to be used with winter, and that's cool. But I mean, the one thing that kind of annoyed me about to go back to the new Jon Snow for a second is he is a wildling, He's a Night's Watch wildling, and as a result, you think, oh great, he's going to have all this sweet wildling synergy, but actually Night's Watch as a faction are not particularly synergistic with wildlings who like winter and low reserve and the rest of it, and Night's Watch the opposite. They like to have high reserve and stuff like that. So yeah, it got me scratching my head a bit. Like, what faction are you running because you think, oh, I'll run Wildlings out of Nightwatch for that obvious reason. But what, because of that anti-synergy, what are you? What faction are you?
I think it's Greyjoy Winter with the Frozen Shore and Rattleshirts to get 2 unopposed challenges in a round.
That's good.
I could see that.
Yeah. I can see that working.
I mean, that's actually doable. It's not too much jank.
You're gonna build that one, Shoma?
I mean, I wouldn't build it because I don't want to put the other wildling. The problem is the other wildlings that you'd have to put in to make this actually reasonable. I don't want to put the other ones in, so I would probably have the 3 scouts and a Rattleshirts, and then that's all.
It's good with Rattleshirt and it's good with Mance Raider, but other than that, it's still a limited pool. It'll increase obviously as we go along, and then when we get some more good wildling characters, it'll improve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sleeper card, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of seeding. I'd call it seeding.
Yeah, seeding card. That's fair enough. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's crap, because it's obviously any stand is good. It's just obviously the deck that this is made for doesn't really.
I don't think it exists
yet.
right now.
Exactly.
Right.
So we won't be too hard on it. We'll come back and look for it when there's more Wildlings and more winter.
Fantastic.
I had someone message me asking me why we don't give grades to cards.
Because that's
Funny,
BS.
I was thinking the same thing.
And the reason that I don't like giving grades to cards is because the grades kind of underscore the text or what we're saying. One of my biggest annoyances doing the card game DB reviews is like, I'll give a card a rating and then I'll say a lot, saying like, this is a really good card, but, or this is a niche card, but it's fantastic in this case. And someone will just be like, I can't believe you give that a 5 when it's only in one deck. It's like, well, did you read the description?
Mm-hmm.
So to answer that question, the reason we don't give grades is because it's more about the discussion.
That's it. And also,
some stupid fucking letter will be assigned to it.
Yeah. Those numbers so change when other cards come out that may or may not make a like Old Bear. To me, the new Old Bear, it was a fucking 1.5, 2. And then Queen's Crown came out. I was like, okay, now it's a 3. If something else came out, it's like, okay, maybe it's a 4 now. If non-uniques became a thing, like a legitimate thing, he might become a 5. Like first edition, there was a phase in first edition I hear where non-unique decks were very much a thing.
Yeah. So grading a card in the current meta is almost pointless.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't grade it. I just talk about it.
Cool. So,
Hey, we are the international friends of mostly banter, and it seems that there's a copyright on that term. So maybe it'll become rambling or something like that.
The International Friends of Mostly Banter. That's a really, really catchy name you've come up with for a third. That really rolls off the tongue, that one.
It was intentional. It was intentional.
Should we do the Weirwood?
The next card is Weirwood Bow.
Is that?
Yes. And it's me, isn't it?
Yep.
I keep getting the fun cards.
Glad you feel that way, Dad.
I'm helping.
And I tend to call it the Weirwood Bow, but it is an attachment. Neutral, cost 1, weapon, Night's Watch or Wildling character only, and it has an action. Kneel Weirwood Bow.
Data
Choose a
sucker.
defensive character. What's that?
Sorry, continue. Sorry.
Kneel the Weirdwood Bow. To choose a defending character, that character gets -2 strength until the end of the challenge. Day.
That's some weird wood, bro.
Weird wood, bro.
Weird wood, man. Yeah.
When I first saw this card, I was like, that's amazing. And the longer I've looked at it, the less impressed I've become with it. So I've been quite a negative Nancy about all these Wildling cards. But I don't know. Like, obviously, the first thing you think when you see a card like that is Targaryen Burn.
Martell. Lingering poison.
Yeah, oh, yes, I suppose so, actually. To the end of the challenge. Hold on, does that match up, though?
You decrease their strength by 2 and then still lose.
Yeah, that's it.
Shank.
Whoa, shit.
That seems a bit dumb. I mean, my first maybe Targ Watch. You put this on the new Jon Snow, and then some dragons are involved somehow, and Daenerys. But then I was like, fuck, that's so much money and so much shit you're putting in your deck just to try and like validate some use out of this card. I don't know. The biggest use I see for this is maybe win by 5 triggers if we're talking like how it's supposed to be intended to be used, you know. But
That's going to be the most common, I think.
yeah, I mean,
It's just a reverse strength buff.
if you want to run Wildling Targaryen, then be my guest and prove me wrong and show me that this build is what you were waiting for. But you've got Grey Worm coming in a couple of packs time.
Yeah, and Astapor. It's like,
and
you're really gonna fuck with this card?
Yeah, you really gonna bother? I don't know. Again, I'm not really sure why it exists at the minute. I'm not sure what the point of it is.
I think Dan dropped.
Yeah, he did. I'm calling him back.
Yeah, keep going, Dave.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just don't see what decks it goes in at the minute. I don't really see what you're facilitating, and each time I've put this in a deck, I've ended up taking it out again before it's even hit the table. So I mean, like,
I'm checking the stream. Dan, you're so far off center, it's ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah.
It messed up.
Now it's even worse.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, because he got dropped from the call, so we need his pitcher just shifted everything.
Oh, now you're in the bottom right.
Yeah. Everything just got shifted because Dan bounced.
Yeah, because Dan dropped.
Oh dear. All right, so you're working on this. Does anyone else have anything to say about the Weirwood Bow?
I think it's genuinely uninteresting. Like you said, Targ Watch is good. Targ Wildling is fine. But I don't think you're going to bother with it. At the end of the day, you're not going to really care all that much.
No, this isn't an attachment that you see across the table and sort of start quaking in your boots over. You think that's going to be a slight nuisance, you know, and you have to kneel it. So yeah, you only get one use out of it. Really, it's not like a persistent thing.
If there were no Targ cards, or if there are no burn cards on the horizon, I'd say this is a pretty good card. Because they got Dracarys and then like Dragon Sight and then like Daenerys' Favor, and it was just like kind of bullshit burn cards. After Dracarys, and like Target players were like, "Give us something that we can actually use, please."
All right, we'll give you a Wildling Bow.
Yeah, we'll give you a Wildling Bow. So then this was spoiled, and everyone's like, "Oh, Targs, we can finally do this. We can do a Targ deck." And then they spoiled Astapor and Grey Worm. And they're like, "Well, fuck this bow. Throw this bow out of here. I don't need this shit anymore." So it might see play for a couple weeks in Targ, but once those other cards come out, people are just
I agree.
not gonna play with it.
Oh, great.
Next.
Scaling the Wall.
Scaling the Wall. That's right.
Now this is who's reading this one? I guess this is me, isn't it? Because Dan read the last one.
Yep.
Scaling the Wall is a 1-cost neutral event reaction after you win a challenge in which you control an attacking wildling character. Choose a non-limited location controlled by the losing opponent and return that location to its owner's hand. This is actually a good card. I like this one. I'm glad they're putting more location hate into the game because we really need it at this minute in time. We've only got Greyjoy basically as the location hate faction. The outside of that, you've got Frozen Solid and Stark. You've got Put to the Torch. You know, there's not really a huge wealth of options when it comes to dealing with locations, and the one plot you can put in your deck,
political disaster,
it's a disaster, isn't it? It's a fucking terrible plot.
It's so bad.
The reserve is crap, the initiative is crap, the gold is middling, you know. So yeah, I'm happy that they've made this card. The weakest thing about this card is the fact you need a wildling to trigger it, but
yeah, we got Dan back.
Hey Dan, we're just talking about scaling the wall now. Just to
bring sorry about that, guys. Seems I had a bad connection.
That's all right, man. No worries.
Shit happens.
Luckily, there are some good wildling cards. Rattleshirt, you know, if you've got him in your deck, you're almost definitely going to put this in with him. You know, the wildling hordes are really, really good cards and probably criminally underplayed for how good they are. You know, a 5/5, no attachment spike on, which you can kneel your faction card to pump to a 7 is really good. So there are good wildling cards, and now that this box is out, maybe we'll see some more. Maybe we'll see some more of them. So I think this sees play. I think it's good. I don't think you build around this card. I think you put it into a deck where you were planning on including wildlings anyway. But yeah, no, I like it. I do like it. I think this is genuinely the best of the wildling cards in the box. It's the one thing I'm slightly annoyed, well, I say disappointed about with this box is I was all psyched for Wildlings because I love the Wildlings in the books. I love the theme, and they've all been quite underwhelming so far. I feel, yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. But anyway,
I don't know. I kind of like AGoT, but she doesn't come from this box, right?
no, she doesn't.
No, she's not from this box.
She's actually a good wildling, but
Yeah, she is. I forgot about AGoT. Yeah, she is.
See, scaling the wall is all right. I am not like Dan. I don't like that they're putting more location hate in the game.
Of course, Joe's not okay with that.
What
Come
about
on.
what about the painted table, Joe? You gotta understand that there's
That doesn't help me because I'm not going to run Wildlings. But it's a fine card. It's got a
No,
reasonable.
but the fact location hate exists means less people will be inclined. More people will be less inclined to run.
more
Overly,
people will be less inclined.
yes, to run loads and loads of locations in their day.
Fair
Mace.
Yeah, that's fine. It's pretty good. The trigger is relatively difficult, but if you build around it, it's not hard to get. It's just winning a challenge. And then I like it. I like that it returns it to my hand so that I have a relatively good shot at playing it again the next turn. The whole scale, the Bay of Ice then pillage thing, I thought was bullshit. I prefer this one over the Bay of Ice being played against me.
It still sucks if you're losing a 4-cost location.
Yeah, but I can live with it. I mean, like we said, we're gonna get more location hate. So a nice much deck can survive the wall being bounced to their hand for a turn. It cannot survive Euron taking the wall.
No, that's true. It's kind of a bummer that it doesn't work on non-limiteds. You know, this would be great if you could hit the Arbor with it or something like that. You know, or Slaver's Bay. You know.
Yeah.
Some factions who have nothing to fear from location hate, like Targaryen and I guess to a lesser extent Tyrell. I know they like to run the Pavilion, they like to run High Garden as maybe sneaky one-offs, but other than that, it's just economy.
But if you get those knocked out, you're not really like my
life. No, my game.
My game is ruined.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. So
a lot of Lannister decks tend to play no locations or very few also. So
they've got Harrenhal though, haven't they? So actually, that's a good.
But not all decks play Harrenhal necessarily or go full on jumper.
Yeah.
No,
it's
a
specific
council
Lannister
chamber
deck.
And exactly. See, I would see this out of Lannister, and then they flip into their Wardens and hit you for intrigue on top of it, and eventually they'll hit that location. But there's not many other factions that are doing that, and that'll take it out of your hand necessarily. So.
Yeah,
it's just a tempo play.
I just think that within the next cycle, probably we'll see a card that's called like fleeing my post or some bullshit. 0-cost attachment. This character is now a wildling, and then that's gonna make these cards much more useful. I mean, I would be very surprised if we didn't. I would eat my hat, my headphones. I would eat my headphones if that didn't happen. In the next cycle,
about like a Sworn to the Watch, but for wildlings.
Exactly, just for the wildling trait, because they've done it for small council and all that other bullshit. So why wouldn't they do it for this?
Yeah, I could see that.
I could see it,
just to make it more viable. But
so,
the last of the Giants.
The Giants.
And lovely art on this.
That's you, Shamar.
Yep.
How fitting, because I'm a huge person too. Actually, no. Joe surprised me. I forgot about that. Gen Con, when he tapped me. Did you tap me or did you say something? And I turned around. I was looking at him for a second, like, who is this guy? Because I don't know why. I just pictured Joe to be a lot shorter than me, but he's a pretty big, burly guy. He's a large man.
But I picture you as in the few pictures that are around in your YouTube as not being excessively tall.
What?
I'm.
Me or Joe?
Shomar. I've met you a couple of times, and I know that.
Yeah, I'm.
I look at your belt when you're.
I'm 6'1".
Yeah, Joe's huge, man.
Right.
He's a freaking giant.
The card.
Anyways, the last of the Giants. Sorry.
Dan is tall too, actually.
Much taller than all of you, for what it's worth.
Yeah, he is much taller.
Damn.
Giants.
All right, the last of the Giants.
It's one of those lanky monsters.
A neutral event costs 2. It's a song. Action: put a neutral character into play from your hand. Until the end of the phase, that character gains Intimidate. At the end of the phase, if that character is still in play, kill it, cannot be saved. Joe?
It's a Varus trigger. You know?
Yeah.
Just-
No, it has
No, no.
smarter uses than that.
It's a 2-cost Varus. It's a 2-cost Rattleshirt. It's a 2-cost a couple other fucking things. You know, it's mostly a 2-cost Varus. Okay, fine. It's 2-cost Jackin.
Which you can then Ghost of Harrenhal the next turn for free.
That's what you want to do with your time.
Yeah, it's mate. That's a legit play. I think.
Captain Jank is back. There you go. I mean,
Yeah.
The two
this
cost Varus is
oozes
kind
Jank
of scary.
and combos.
If you're running a deck with 3 Varuses, there's no harm, and you're going to put this in that.
Oh no, for sure. I'm not saying it's a bad play.
In sticking a Jackin in there, just in case, you know.
It's super combo, but I'm not saying it's a bad play. Go ahead. And as a matter of fact, you're paying 2 and you're reducing the cost of so many whatever neutrals that you want to put in, right? You could you hate Mance so much, but you could even fit in a one of Mance in there because you're only paying 2 for him.
Mm-hmm. I suppose you could use this with Dala as well and a Wildling to draw a
There
card
you go.
if you're really desperate.
For
Yeah,
$2.
if that's what you're doing with your time, like I
$2
said,
to
go
draw a
for it.
card.
Yeah, but obviously this is, like I say, in a combo deck or in some sort of a jank build where you're obviously going for lots of neutrals and you...
You guys are not fucked about this one, are you?
No.
It's a Varus trigger, dude. That's what it
Awesome.
is.
The fire that burns. The fire
Yeah,
that
no,
burns.
we've done that.
We already did that one.
Oh yeah, we
Yes,
did.
sir.
Sorry, retaliation. And I gotta fix the camera.
Okay, so
Man.
this one is probably
'Cause
worth
it's a plot.
talking about because
Yes.
this is a scary card.
I mean,
don't know.
it's scary, but at the same time, it's not gonna take a long time to talk about, right?
No,
I mean, it's
no.
Well, I'm sure all you guys really want to go home and masturbate to this card, but I'm not as big on it as
I
everyone
mean,
else.
I don't.
we,
I don't generally tend to find cards sexually stimulating. Oh, my God, of course
don't you, Dan?
Yeah, retaliation. Joe. Is it Joe or is it Dan? It's Dan.
It's Joe.
Honest,
Joe. My bad.
Oh no, it's me. You're right. It's
it's
me.
an honestly, who cares at this point?
So retaliation is a neutral plot, 4 gold, 8 initiative, 2 claim. It has war as a trait. If you win initiative, you must choose an opponent to be the first player and 4 reserve.
Read the other part too. Oh, the lack of plot deck limit 1.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does not have plot deck limit 1, which I think is
No.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's really strong. I mean, do you know what card loves this this plot? And that's King Rob's Host, isn't it?
Mm,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
So when you win a military challenge with King Rob's Host, if there's a war plot revealed, you can move 2 power from their faction cards to the host.
Actually, my buddy Billy, who I do the podcast with, did very well. Made top 16 at our nationals, which was a Lannister Dragon fuckfest.
Yeah.
And it's sad because he actually should have won the top 16 match. He was playing the Stark a bajillion characters. And
Yeah,
no
the Ryan Wood
the
Stark
Ryan Wood
abomination.
Stark build.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it's funny how many people he actually catches on a trigger because somebody would wildfire, obviously, because that was the reset. And wildfire is a war plot, and he would catch them off because whenever he'd win, he'd actually steal 2 power because it's not only yours, right? But you're
No.
right, that's a trigger that people forget off of that army.
Good. Obviously, Martell love this plot. Night's Watch sort of aimant builds will love this plot. I think even
my
crossing
God.
builds will love this plot, man.
Oh,
Any
crossing
deck-
plots are gonna love it.
Yeah, any deck with stand will love this plot. Yeah, it's probably the best 2 claim plot in the game they've
Yeah.
released, I would say. What do you guys think?
Well, the thing about the 2 claim plots is that they had, 3 reserve, 4 reserve, or sorry, 3 initiative, 4 initiative, 2 initiative. It's like your opponent was probably winning initiative, and they could decide if it was better for you to go first or second most of the time.
Yeah.
This is the first non-sneak attack 2 claim plot that actually has a good, reasonable shot of winning initiative. And yeah, you have to go second, but like I've said before, going second is the best part of this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be, especially if you're built to deal with that. Yeah, and also like, I mean, I don't know about you. If someone plays this before this plot, if someone played a 2-claim plot against me, I would normally make them go first because like my thinking was, well, rather than open up my board to their 2-claim, I want to try and weather the storm coming against me, and then I can do my challenges if I still have someone left, you know.
Well, like I said, you want to go second most of the time anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, against someone playing a 2-claim,
especially with a 2-claim plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're on the other side of the table from a 2-claim block, though, you generally want to go second, so you don't, you know, otherwise you're just gonna be like, right, I'm gonna have to pass my challenges because I need to put everything into defending this, and this is what, this is what this sort of card does. It puts you in a very difficult position as the first player. It's like, do you come at me, and open up your board to potential havoc on the return, or do you sit there and pass your turn and take a pounding? You know, it's a bit of a lose-lose situation. So yeah, it's really
not many
strong.
people like taking a pounding.
No, I think this is going to see a lot of play.
Specific person.
So look forward to this at Dockside Brothel Days in a few weeks.
The one thing I will say about this card is I feel like it's going to be put into a lot of decks really early on, so you're going to see like a retaliation on a retaliation several times in a row.
Yeah.
And it'll kind of lose its effect of winning initiative, because it's like it'll become down to who has the least amount of power, but or the most King's Roads. But I do think it's going to be in plot. People are going to run this plot, and it's going to be really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been seeing a lot on Throne Techie as recently since it came out, and there's a lot of people that are using it very incorrectly.
That's exactly where I was going to go.
That's what I'm happy to see is I play a player and they just throw it down because they think that it's godlike and have no idea when to actually use it, and then it works out in my favor. But I think when it comes down to players using it properly, it's going to be very scary. It's very scary. I saw it in one of those half-hand decks.
It'll be really good in a half-hand deck.
It was so ridiculous. I wanted to cry at my desk. But yeah, so I think this is a really good plot, and it's also a plot that was in 1.0 as well, and it was.
Can you just describe briefly, when you say using it incorrectly, what it was that they were doing?
When I say using it incorrectly, I mean using it at a time when you're not going to win the challenge to get that 2-claim off. So I played a guy, he dropped it, he made me the first player. I was like, okay. I went with Asha, and I just power stealth. She stands, then I pass. And then he lost every challenge that he did, and then that was it. Moved to the next round. So I see.
So he played it too early, basically.
Yeah,
right.
At a time where
he played it when he was unable to force something.
Yeah, where he had nothing that he could do to ever get 2-claim on any of the challenges. So it was a waste.
I got you, pal. I got you. That's great. Okay, well, yeah. So that gets 4 thumbs up from all of us.
Whisper campaign.
Next plot then. Whisper campaign.
Oh! It doesn't get 4 thumbs up from me, but okay. I don't matter. I don't have the star power. So
it's Dees.
Shut up, Dad.
It's Dees. Whisper campaign. Who is it?
Damn.
No, I'm kidding. Okay, yeah. So Whisper campaign is a neutral. They're all neutral, aren't they? It's a 4 gold, 4 initiative, 1 claim plot. Scheme trait. So you can put in a Casimir deck, though I'm not sure you would. And it reads force reaction after a character with an intrigue icon enters play. Kneel it, and also it plot. Deck limit 1 and reserve of 6.
I like how they limit this.
You don't want people running 2 of these. No, compared to retaliation, you can have 2 retaliations, but not 2 whisper campaigns. We're not crazy.
That's pretty funny that you just pointed that out. This is kind of like a hard counter plot for some factions and a complete waste of a plot slot against others, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you play this against maybe Greyjoy or Stark, even Night's Watch to a degree, maybe, I think.
Certain decks.
Yeah.
Or you just run Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless you're really worried about ambush, I guess.
I think this might be better than Game of Thrones. I don't know. I get a feeling this is probably a little, you're putting this in a deck. Let's say you've got this in a Queen Cersei deck. You're going to be feeling pretty smug when you play this one, and your opponent's playing a deck with way less intrigue than you. I mean, this works on stuff like Nymeria as well, man. She doesn't have an intrigue icon, It's I don't know how good it is as a plot. I think the problem this plot has is it's probably going to be fighting for space with lots of other better plots.
I think
absolutely.
The deck that would have used it most, the Reigns deck, can't use it as a primary plot. They have to use it in their five plot sideboard. I think that they did that intentionally, just like they did the intentionally thing with Gossips and Lies, where you couldn't play that in your standard deck with Reigns of Castamere, because honestly, this is just a little too janky. I have a general rule that I don't really like playing cards that rely on my opponent doing something specific.
Yeah.
You know,
Fuck you, Joe.
Really
That's a lie. That's a fucking lie. Your card where nobody kneels. The specific thing your opponent has to do is fucking attack.
Oh, you're right.
Bullshit. Get out of here. Get that shit out of here. And your other one where no one wins or loses. The specific thing I have to do is fucking make a first challenge. So fuck you.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Nobody
I
wins
hate
or
you,
loses.
Joe.
This is Shamar letting off steam.
Shamar finally breaks.
I'm just playing.
Sometimes Shamar just calls me in tears, just complaining about how I've traumatized him forever.
Remember that time, Joe? Remember that time? Goddamn.
Remember that time you did this to me? You put Old Bear's Raven on Old Bear, and then you defended the wall with him.
Anyway, do you have anything to say about this, Dan? Dan, up in the corner.
I do not.
All right.
Not this one.
Called
I
into
had
service.
a little bit more to say about the last one. But...
Oh, sorry, Dan.
All right.
You're the one that said you weren't jacking off to it, so we assumed you had
Yes.
limited amounts to say.
That's all right.
Called into
The
service.
next one's actually interesting.
Is that me? Yes, it is.
Yes.
2 gold, 0 initiative, 1 claim. Called into service. It's a kingdom and it has 6 reserve. When revealed, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a character, put it into play. If it is a non-character card, draw it and gain 2 gold. This card is hilarious. Continue, Joe.
It's really good with Tyrell. I'll say that much. You know, you bear in the maiden fairy cell, so you can get the best fucking guy on top of your deck.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming he's in his top 5.
Yeah.
Assuming he's in the top 5, yeah. Worst case scenario, it's a card draw and a 4/0/1 plot, which isn't awful. It's not.
Why couldn't this card get like 2 initiative? Is it that? I mean, it's an interesting effect. It'll fit in certain janky decks, but I mean, it's not that OP, right? I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh man,
It's
0
not.
initiative.
It's not, but it'd be balls if, let's say, you fucking played Tywin and then won initiative and then did bullshit after that. So just to...
But you're right that there's a lot of cards that have 1 initiative, but even 2. There's a lot of 2 initiative out there.
And look at Blood of the Dragon, man. That has 2 initiative. You know, I mean, why doesn't this have 2? It should have some initiative. I agree.
At least, you know, if you want to give it a reason, I mean, are they creating plots so that we don't play them, or are they creating plots so that we play them and we have options? I love the effect. I like that it's a kingdom, although it's not as relevant as it was. The reserve is okay, but I don't know why so low initiative.
I tell you what, if someone played this and you were playing Tyrell with their pulling the strings deck, pulling the strings plot, you'd be over the fucking moon.
There you go.
If someone played this, and you'd be like,
You're like, oh, this is
"Sweet.
fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna copy called into service. I'm gonna get a free character, which I've definitely tutored for to make sure it is the right character, and then I'm gonna get my 5 gold and 2 initiative on top.
Yeah. But outside of setting your deck up, I don't know if this is all that great.
No.
Because you do have to reveal the card. So if it's a card that you'd like to keep secret, like a Nightmares or something like that, you draw it and you have to show them that you have Nightmares in your hand now, and then they can actually take that into account. And all you got was 4 gold out of it. So
4 gold, no initiative.
yeah, no initiative, 4 gold, and it's just
and not so secret Nightmares anymore.
Yeah, not so secret Nightmares.
Wasn't somebody also on your article review mentioning this in a typical banter / bitter bridge deck could be cool also, because odds are you're just doubling up on that effect. And so again, is these fun decks that you're not necessarily expecting to win, but that can, and the plot will see play. I don't know if it's top 10 or tier 1 play, but it'll see play.
Yeah. It has high upside, but it has a low floor. It could just be a complete wiping garbage card. But...
You could the banter bridge decks could be quite good.
Does anyone still play the Ryan Wood monstrosity deck?
No, that's had its
No.
time in the sun, sadly. But yeah, this would have been great for that, wouldn't it?
Of course.
Yeah, but because you are almost certainly going to be drawing a character every time in that deck.
Yeah.
But sadly, no. The Stark Abomination deck has died a death.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, so.
It's a powerful deck, but it's a fucking boring deck.
Yeah, it's not the most exciting. Just do challenges and pump the strength up with the castle.
And I mean,
Both
it
kings roll post.
survived the wildfire, but I don't know how well it would do with Valor, right?
I don't know.
Anyways,
Well, the next card is up, and it's the White Shadows.
Ooh, who's
Danny
in it?
boy.
Go nuts.
It's me. Oh my goodness me. The White Shadows say 5 gold, 2 initiative, 1 claim. It's an omen, so Crest is handily immune to it. Reaction after a character opponent. After a character an opponent controls is killed, put it into play under your control. While that character is in play, treat it printed text box as if it were blank, a la milk. At the end of the phase, if the card is still in play, please place it in its owner's deck pile.
Please do this.
Please put it back. Put it back in its owner's deck pile, if you could be so kind.
Don't be a dick. Would you kindly?
Um,
I don't ever see myself playing this.
no.
It's
mean-
cool thematically. It's not very good.
What's the best that could happen is that your
This was
opponent claims the wrong person, or you put to the sword someone big and then get to use them for 1 turn on defense, I guess. Like, I don't know. Or you get to win. No, you wouldn't even get to win dominance with it because the challenge phase was end after that character died.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the best that could come out of this?
There were a lot of cards in this box that made me excited to play, like kind of janky cards, like Maester Aemon and new Jon Snow and things like that. That they were kind of janky and a little weird, but they made me excited to build around them. This is a weird, janky thing that I'm not interested in building around at all.
Yeah.
This I can actually see. I can see one use for this. If you know Valor is coming, yeah, and you think, if I'm able to get some of their characters on my side of the board on the Valor term and they have 0 claim, I might be able to use
But
some
no,
of their
because
bodies.
plot phase
why are
ends.
you-
Plot phase
why
ends
are
and
you-
then they go.
Yeah.
Oh
Once the plot
god, it's
phase
only
is
to the
over,
end of the
it's
fate.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It's
Oh my
garbage.
god, that's terrible. Okay, no, in that case, disregard what I'm saying. Yeah, this is terrible. The one thing that might have made it playable was the winter trait, but they didn't see fit to
Yeah,
put
for
that
some
on
reason
there.
they
I
didn't
was
feel the
thinking the
need to
same
give it
thing,
winter
yeah.
trait.
Yeah, they've got the White
looks-
Walkers on there.
It looks pretty wintry.
Yeah.
The Fire That Burns is a winter card, but this didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
It would have been
thought that
too
was
strong if it were a winter card.
It's a nice balmy non-winter plot. Summer plot actually. It's great. Yeah, no, not great. I don't know. Normally I can be quite pragmatic with cards and sort of try and imagine a situation where you put this in the deck, but there is no way I'm using one of my 7 valuable plot spaces for this.
Nope.
This really situational effect. That's crap.
It's pretty trash.
Move on, I think.
Unless Dan has something to say, Dan. Nothing.
Not for this garbage.
Perfect.
And
Name
Name
day
day
20.
20.
Garbage.
So, name day 20.
I think we skipped Dan, so Dan, this is you. Go for it.
Is it?
Yep.
Name day, again, a neutral plot. 5 gold, 4 initiative, 1 claim. This has the summer trait and a reaction. After you win a challenge in which a knight character you control is attacking or defending alone, choose a lord or lady character you control and have it gain 1 power. It has 5 reserve.
Jeez.
Works
Do you know
with
what
Red
goes?
Flowers.
Tyrell.
Mate, do you know what card this loves? Fucking Dan and mine's favourite card, isn't it? It's There Are No Men Like Me. Made for this plot.
Right.
They don't
Yeah.
kneel, they win
Right.
alone. Lady Sansa's Rose 2 for the extra power. This is like a Tyrell crossing, beautiful, synergistic plot. And
If
it
you're
just
running-
adds to the other plots.
Yeah.
If you're running this, I sure hope you're running Lady Sands of the Rose too, because that's
Yeah.
the only time then. that you
Get the
can-
max swing. You might as well go for the max swing.
This goes straight in Ryan Wood's Betha deck, the Tyrell crossing with summer plots and 3 Robar Royces and the rest of it. Because it's a summer plot, isn't it? So you're
Yep.
getting your
Yeah.
Robar trigger on it. You've got a gajillion knights in Tyrell anyway. You've got all the strength pump in the world to make sure you can boost it up. And it's just another rush component for that rush deck. So it's definitely going to see some play, this one.
Oh, it certainly will.
Yeah, for sure.
And I like that it's on offense and defense, so
Yeah.
you can't just own a challenge just to be a dick. You got to really think about what you're doing on if you're attacking against somebody playing this plot. So you're not just going to be an asshole and throwing the power challenge for 1 as an ass, and then
Unless you're an asshole.
unless
then
you're an
you can
ass
do it.
that wants to lose, yes.
That's true. It does
But-
stop the chum challenge.
Let me ask the super smart, better brains on this cast than.
Don't say yourself short there, Dan. Thoroughly unbecoming.
just being in character. Isn't
I think
it
we've
jousting?
got
What's the
that.
name? Isn't it jousting
Pavilion?
contest or tourney or something like
Oh,
that? The other
oh.
neutral plot
That's-
where you can only have 1 attacking and 1 defending character. Doesn't that kind? I know you're losing the power gain and you don't have the same stats line. But if you want to trigger those events, whether it be all men are fools or winning by so much or winning with only 1 character, doesn't that plot kind of facilitate that a little bit more than this? This gives you more power, but the other
Yeah.
one, I don't know. I'm just.
I would take
and it
this
is-
over jousting contest for sure.
The best case scenario is you play this on the turn your opponent plays jousting contest.
I don't think
And
I
I guess-
haven't seen anyone play jousting contest.
I don't think it's ever happened.
I guess jousting. One of the reasons it's not played is it's not summer, right? I guess
Yeah.
it's probably not summer traded.
Also, like the stats for jousting contest are kind of lame. It's 4 and 3 in golden initiative.
4 and 3.
Um,
And it's a war plot, yeah. I don't know. I was just trying to think, what does this replace, or is there anything similar to this? Because, I mean, it's not extremely exciting, but again, you're right. The fast just get faster, and it fits right into those decks. So
just goes
Right.
straight in the good old fast stuff deck. Yeah. So I mean, at least that's one good seasonal plot. Summer always seems to get the best seasonal plots. Have you noticed that? The winter, it has a few good ones. Barring the Gates was a nice touch, but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Winter
generally
Festival's
on the
nice.
whole. And speaking of bad winter plots, that takes us very
That's it.
very conveniently into our
Very
last.
very much
that's a
transition.
segue, yeah. If you have one.
I know, I didn't even intend that either. That was just off the cuff.
Dan, king of segues.
King of segues.
There you go. There's another title.
all the titles.
Are you a Targaryen king there, Dave?
I'm king of nothing.
Uh,
Right.
and-
who wants
and
the
this-
honor?
This obviously has 1 initiative because it'd be garbage if it would have 0.
Yeah.
No, 4.
Yeah, that was the saving grace.
Yeah. It's the one initiative that's making me bring this to the table. I'll say that. Who wants to do this one then?
Last one, Frozen Expanse. Go for
Yeah.
it, Joe. Do it. Take us home.
Go on, Joe. Take us
Neutral.
in.
Yeah, neutral plot, income 4, initiative of 1, claim of 1, reserve of 6, and you can have 2 in your deck if you want to. It's
No.
a winter plot, and each character with strength 2 or lower cannot stand. There goes me Plaza priding my old forest hunters.
God, this when we discussed this on the big UK Thrones player group that we're all part of, I came out pretty swiftly and I said I thought it was complete shite, and I got a bit of kickback from it, basically like, there's definitely going to be situations in which this is really good, and I was like, it completely, like, basically the one kind of deck you want to put this plot in, is a winter deck. And winter decks are generally quite low curb, quite low gold, and as a low curb, low gold deck, you generally have characters that are 2 strength or lower, or more, at least more of those characters. So in a winter deck, this actively hurts.
Mhm.
It probably hurts you more than it's hurting your opponent, and that's why I don't like it.
I can imagine someone flipping this plot and being like, "Good luck using your reducers next turn."
And you're just there going, okay, Valor. We're like, cool, now no one has any reducers. I sure solved that problem of no one standing back up again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This
I think
kind
there
of
was
just
so
like
many
we've run out of ideas for now, and let's just buy ourselves some time. So here's a plot that does something, and it's winter traded.
No, let me
totally
just
agree
say
with that.
this. I've long
Card number
felt-
52 as well.
I've long felt the need that I've long felt that First Snow of Winter should have been cost 2 or lower gets returned to hand. So maybe this was a case of them being gun shy. On First Snow of Winter, they went too high with 3 cost. On this one, they went too low with 2 cost. If this were 3 cost or lower, you might play it.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
First Snow of Winter
it's
was
just,
2 costs lower, no one would play it, man.
That's the point.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I cannot see that someone was talking about putting it in a Stannis Neil Lock deck. And then
That's
someone
a
else.
stupid idea.
Yeah, it's a stupid idea because your fiery followers don't fucking stand up. And play this.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
yeah, so it doesn't even go in that deck.
I can only
just-
stand 2 of my characters, and I wanted to stand my fucking reducer. I can't. You
Yeah,
Hey.
damn it.
Who knows? Maybe eventually this will be the hotness because again, Captain Obvious needs to remind everybody that this is evergreen. But
Dude, unless they make some godlike 2-strength character, and
no, I know.
Actually,
that's what I'm
like,
saying.
If
like
this
6 of
character's
them.
standing
I-
after the challenges phase, you win the game.
I would
You have,
actually
like-
love to be proven wrong and to have somebody beat my ass with this, and I could say, "Man, you did it with a horrible plot. Congratulations!" But
Mhm.
at least you
That's
have.
happening.
And they were like, I did it in spite of a horrible plot.
Do you know where they made this? I think they made this plot cards because the Lost Ranger is a thing. Is that? Is
Wait,
it cost?
what?
No, it's strength 2. So I
Oh,
thought it was
strength.
cost 2.
Strength
God,
2,
oh,
yeah.
mate.
No,
Alright,
this
never
card's
mind
just
then.
trash.
It's just trash.
If it
isn't
were
it?
cost 2 or lower, that might actually be good against mini curve decks.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that
Yes,
would.
for the cost, you're right. If it would have been cost, it'd be something else, it'd be played. But we're talking strength.
Don't worry, that's
Good
coming
luck
down the pipe
standing
soon.
your
But it's like-
brand next turn. Hope your core Santa likes not getting a power. It's just, yeah, it's pretty shit, isn't
You
it?
just broke this card, Dan. It beats Corsans.
No, man, like, do you know what's a bit disappointing? The Lanny box, I feel like the Lanny box had some really good plots in it. They had a lot of fun, like Gossip and Lies, I thought was really fun. You know, and I don't know, this box, the plots all seem a bit whiff, apart from Retaliation, which is the complete
Retaliation is
opposite.
a star.
Yeah.
Whisper Campaign you could play if you're running a
there's-
heavy intrigue control deck.
But
Mm.
they're not as exciting, the neutrals, as
No.
they were out of the other boxes.
A lot
But
of them kind of have built-in factions to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
Retaliation is loved by Martell. Whisper Campaign is loved by Lannister. Called in Service is loved by Tyrell.
I think everything's loves Retaliation, to be honest, apart from Dan, of course. But you know, most factions.
it must be the French in me. But what's the point in having 8 initiative if you can't decide who's got initiative? I understand that there's some certain decks. I understand that there's factions that love it. I'm not saying that it's garbage. I'm just saying I'm not as in love with it as you guys. Because yay, you have initiative, but this one plot is doing one thing. It's not as versatile as other 2 claims.
If I won a big tournament, I'm not even saying I'm good enough to, but in the theoretical sense that I could win a big tournament and got a card design, I'd make an agenda where you're just always second player.
It's your. That sounds
I
like
never
you
get-
too. And you know what?
I hate that.
That maybe that's part of the problem of the game. Also, in a sense, not part of the problem, but one of the problems. You're right. Being second, very often, if not almost all the time, which is pretty much the same, is better. But there are a few turns. I mean, I've played 2 claim plots out of decks that weren't necessarily winter, right? Personally, what's the 202 plot, winter plot? What's its name?
Famine.
Famine is a great 2 claim plot. You were wondering if this was the best one. It plays different. It's a different deck. But how many games did you lose or win because of Famine? There's some other 2 claim plots out there that are played different. So I understand that you're putting this in a deck and you're thinking about it different. And it's an awesome 2 claim plot. One of the reasons why it's awesome is because it's not winter traded. So you can actually have it in decks that can't have winter and all sorts of stuff. And how it works. I'm just saying, kind of like Shomar, people are playing it and they're playing it wrong. It's not the go-to, everything's golden and super awesome plot. It's good at what it does. It's not necessarily you're putting on pressure or your closer that certain decks would have. That's all. It's a good plot. It's just not as bonkers as what everybody thinks. What's the point of having 8 initiative if you can't choose who's going to start?
Yeah, because you get
in a sense you are, but
you get to go second.
Unless you want to go first.
Going second with 2 claim is insane.
But right then and there, I can tell that you always play Night's Watch, and I can tell that you like to play Jank. But we mentioned earlier in the cast when you have Intimidate. No, I know, but I'm generalizing and I'm making it simple purposefully. But when you have Intimidate on the board, and especially if you have 2 of them, you're playing Robert, you're playing Victarion, or you're playing the Tyrell army, or there are other decks, there are other ways, and sometimes you want to have that option, and this plot doesn't give it to you. What's the point of having 8 initiatives?
A guy posted in the live chat, he said, # make sure Joe never wins Worlds.
Nice.
I second that.
I think we can all get behind that incentive. And guys,
I just want to be careful and say I like the plot, I like what it brings, but I'm not as bonkers as everybody's first and initial reaction.
Sure.
And on that note, let's close this.
Yeah, we're good.
It is very late here.
I know. I feel bad for Dan. So we have now finished the entire big box expansion, Watchers on the Wall. It's been fantastic. I'm super, super glad that Dan could join us for this, as well as the other Dan. And I'm super, super glad that Joe continues to come back, despite everything and all the rescheduling issues that we had. It's finally done. I think we did a fantastic job. And if anybody hates how long this is,
yeah, go us.
We had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, if anyone hates how long this is, you don't have to watch
fun.
it.
I'm gonna pat myself on the back. We did great.
Fantastic job, guys. Fantastic job, guys. And I hope that everybody in the stream enjoyed it. We got up to another 30 people, so shout out to everyone that came in and made it through the whole thing. We truly, truly appreciate it. And I hope everybody enjoys the crazy combos that they make with this box, because it was an interesting one.
There are a lot of them. Yeah, there are some really interesting fun cards in there. So let us know what you build. Share your lists. Spread the knowledge.
That's right.
And that's the guy who does not share his list.
Yeah, I do share. I publish all my fucking lists, Joe. I publish them after I win tournaments with them.
That's right. That's the way to do it. All right, guys.
You always share your tech.
Thanks again for everything. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a fantastic night. Take care. Peace out. And until next time.
Peace and fucking.